those years as a superhero in Marvel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 926 Sam Goes Out. Luigi found that he didn't know when it started, but he was asked to do all the dirty work in the Illuminati. Therefore, he deeply felt that his personality seemed to have collapsed a little. This is not a good phenomenon. It's like playing basketball in the NBA. There are handsome guys who attack and score, and there are people who specialize in dirty work. There is no need to talk about handsome guys. What are the daily top 5 shots and the Eastern Conference Player of the Week? These are all visible honors. But those who do dirty work are not so good. They can't get any data, and they do the dirtiest work in the team. The only thing they can say is, the value of this player to the team cannot be measured by data. Well, Luigi thinks that he is probably the player who cannot be measured by data. But now that he has been doing dirty work for so long, the first generation of the Illuminati has already had an inexplicable idea and view of him. Luigi feels that it is time for him to adjust his direction. In particular, he needs to adjust the views of the first generation and the upcoming alien army on him. His personality cannot collapse completely. For example, in front of Sam, he can't show too much of that. Still have to maintain dignity and the demeanor of a senior hero. Can't let him see through his true purpose. Well, actually, he doesn't have any purpose. Just like buying him a gift for the new semester of the Nova Corps, this is completely out of the concern of an elder, and has nothing to do with letting Sam drag down the next generation of the Nova Corps. No, absolutely not. So, what do you think is cool? Boys and girls think it's cool. This may be the last thing we can give to Sam before he leaves. Luigi said, touching Mindy and Laura's hair. Mindy was a little puzzled. Where's he going? Luigi thought about how to answer for a while, and then said, this may not be able to tell you, but have you heard of Zyojin going out to the frontier? You will know what Sam is going to do after you Google it later. Mindy winked at Laura and asked her to Google it on her mobile phone. Then Mindy asked Luigi, okay, what are you going to give him? How much money do you have in budget? There are not too many requirements for the budget. The main thing is to list the things you think are cool. Luigi said without any hesitation. In order to let Sam drag more classmates into the water? No, to let more classmates feel the charm of Earth culture. Luigi didn't care much about how much money was spent. Mindy said a little jealously, why haven't you been so generous to Laura and me? You only gave us 2 children's clothes on our birthdays. Mindy hugged Laura, and the 2 little girls nodded together to protest Luigi's stinginess. Well, because I think that set of children's clothes is very suitable for you. Luigi didn't know how to answer the little girl's jealousy. He could only change the subject, and Sam is not the same as you. As the eldest brother, shouldn't you help send Sam some gifts when the younger brother is going on a long journey? What about the consciousness of being a good eldest brother? Luigi mentioned the matter of being the eldest brother, and Mindy put aside the unhappiness just now. She thought about it and it was indeed the case. Okay, since Sam is my little brother, I'll help you choose. Boys and girls like all kinds of cool electronic products, especially things that are suitable for playing. It would be even better if they can play secretly during class. Things with social entertainment functions can help you make friends quickly in a new environment. Mindy sat on a chair at the side and began to help Luigi choose various gifts. Nintendo's new game console NS is a must. You can play Mario Kart 8 and just dance with friends. When playing Mario Kart 8, you can throw missiles at your friend's car that is about to reach the finish line, and when playing Just Dance, you can laugh at your friend's ugly dance moves. These can quickly increase friendship. Mindy said very seriously. Then Apple's iPod is also great. It's not like mobile phones that are getting bigger and uglier. The iPod is small and beautiful. It's great for listening to music, and it's beautiful. The iPod Touch is also okay. And some cool clothes, they must be very fashionable and have personality. Sam's clothes are too ugly, too ugly, too ugly. He looks like a complete country bumpkin. If you want others to notice you, you must dress more handsomely. And you need to have a better hairstyle. Mindy was talking about her opinions non-stop, and Luigi nodded while taking notes. Well, a lot of what Mindy said makes sense. First of all, you have to make the students of the Nova Corps think you are cool, willing to make friends with you, and even become the leader of one of their organizations. Only in this way will Sam's things be accepted and liked by more people. If you become the leader of a student organization, then what Sam says will be the attitude of a leader. In this way, his words, deeds, and things he likes will be imitated by others. Only when others are always chasing your trend can the trend be better accepted by others. Then you can share some interests and hobbies and form your own interest group. For example, after school, you can build a Lego building group. Of course, as the initiator, you must provide a sufficient number of Lego building blocks. Well, I can provide some. Mindy thought about her unlimited Lego coupons and said generously. Or you can form an after-school game discussion group, and play cooperative games like Monster Hunter World together. This is also good. Of course, this requires everyone to have a PS4, but it's a bit silly to get together and play TV games. It's best for everyone to buy a PS4 Elite controller PSV, so that everyone can play together like playing handheld games, and can communicate face-to-face. Just like when I played Monster Hunter with my Big Daddy on PSP a few years ago. Although my Big Daddy doesn't like to play this game very much, Mindy felt sorry that Big Daddy didn't play PSP Monster Hunter with her enough times when she was a child. But what she said inspired Liji's thinking. Well, it's really more important for children of this age to play. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy couldn't resist the entertainment attraction from Earth, so can the children of the Nova Corps Junior Training School stand it? Liji still has confidence that he can let more children from other civilizations in the universe feel the profoundness of Earth's culture. Later, Mindy also put forward many other opinions, some of which made sense, but some of them could not be implemented because Sam was going to an alien planet this time. Okay, I think that's about all I can think of. Mindy felt that she talked a little too much and her mouth was a little thirsty. You haven't told me where Sam is going and what he is doing. Liji thought for a while and was thinking about how to answer this question. Laura, who knew everything by just Google on her phone, suddenly widened her eyes. She looked at Liji in disbelief, and then said to Mindy in a frightened tone, I found Xiaojin going out of the frontier. It says on it that this is a story about a beautiful woman who married a foreign country for the peace of the country and died of depression in the end. Laura's big eyes flickered as she looked at Liji. So, who'll Sam be given as a gift to? Will he marry her? Hey, it seems that I have misunderstood. Chapter 927, It's all because of your bad mouth. Thor was a little confused, because he didn't know why he had taken on a big task. That is to get the cosmic cube out, and then find a way to trick the Nova Corps into giving it to them. Hey, shouldn't Liji do this kind of thing? He is the best at this kind of thing, why should I do it? Thor felt that he might have been plotted against. But it didn't seem like it, because he was the one who came up with this plan. Who could plot against him? Although Liji said at the time, whoever proposes it, whoever solves it. But from other aspects, Liji didn't plot against him. Thor was a little confused, but the only thing he understood now was that the first thing he had to do was to steal the cosmic cube from S.H.I.E.L.D. Because it was obvious that even Captain Rogers couldn't persuade the people of the Security Council to hand over the cosmic cube. Because they couldn't give up the cosmic cube because of a false threat, or a threat that they thought didn't actually exist. And even if the threat really existed, they might not let it go. Sometimes people's arrogance and greed always make people make choices that are not so correct. So it is impossible for the cosmic cube to be taken away openly. The only way is to steal. Even if Captain Rogers can provide a little help, it can't be done too obviously. Because it is very important to maintain Captain Rogers' image in the political circle. For the Illuminati, Captain Rogers is the most influential person in the world's political circle. Keeping his image intact is no less important than asking for help from the Nova Corps. Moreover, stealing is a performance art, just like explosion is also an art, but the requirements of these two arts are different. One requires the dawn here to be quiet, and the other requires the galloping of horses to be vigorous. Thor can do the art of explosion, but he can't handle the art of stealing. He needs some helpers to help him, otherwise he can only choose to transform and forcefully break through the defense of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then take the cosmic cube from thousands of troops like taking something out of a bag. But in this case, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s loss is too great, and it is not what the Illuminati wants to see. So Thor needs a helper. Sif? No, she is a swordsman, and is more proficient in the art of explosion like himself. Tony? No, if he is discovered, it will have a great impact on the later plans. Dr. Banner? Well, he is in charge of the super high-speed rail. If he has time, He will help Dr. Red to research the new hemorrhoid cream. The two crazy scientists have named the battle against the Skrulls Hemorrhoid Rescue Operation. It's really a bad taste of a steel straight man in science and engineering. Professor Charles and Dr. Hank? It's not good either. Now the mutants have just established a country, and it is a very delicate period of time. If Professor Charles and Dr. Hank intervene in this matter, if it attracts the attention of others, if there's any deviation in the future, I can't take responsibility. Originally, Thor thought of the best candidate to be Lee Ji, because he is very good at handling such things. But now Lee Ji seems to be hiding from him and won't let him find him at all. Or he asked Lan for help, but Lan couldn't be found recently. She seems to be busy with the Women's Federation or something. Thor is not very clear. Well, Thor thought about it in the end, in order to avoid a 1,000-mile journey alone. The only thing he can do is to find someone he thinks he will never talk to in his life to join forces. Although the two lived under the same roof, they always treated each other as if they did not exist. They treated each other as if they were air, and even had different eating times. Who is this person? Of course it was the horse-faced hair loss wizard who lived in the basement, Dr. Steve Strange. Thor originally planned not to have anything to do with this person anymore. Strange didn't want to have anything to do with Thor either, but now he seemed to have to find him. Da-da-da, standing at the door of the basement, Thor knocked on the door. Come in. Strange's voice came from inside. He thought it was Lee Ji or Lan who came to see him, and he would never guess that it was Thor who came to see him. Because he could talk, chat and joke with anyone in this house, but not with Thor. So when Thor walked in, he was very surprised. And Thor was equally surprised when he saw Strange. Because Strange's head was thickly coated with a layer of Dawn 101 hair growth water. Strange's hair is medium long among men, and after applying the Dawn 101 hair growth water, it's like applying hair gel and wax to his hair. The temporarily fixed hairstyle is just like an ugly big oily head. Thor looked at the boxes of Dawn 101 hair tonic water piled in a corner of the basement. The boxes that were originally full are now empty shells. The consumption is amazing. Thor muttered softly, I didn't expect it to be true. They said you used Dawn hair tonic water as tap water. I didn't believe it at first, but now it seems to be true. Strange was a little surprised that the person who came was Thor. When he heard what Thor said, Strange didn't know whether it was because of anger or because he was a little angry because he was seen like this, or both, so Strange's face turned red. He roared at Thor, Are you here to laugh at me? What, is it amazing that your hair is long and thick? Thor almost subconsciously answered Strange, Yes, it is amazing. At least I don't have to use Dawn 101 every day. If Thor planned to ignore Strange in the future, it would be okay for him to say this. But he needed Strange's help now, so Thor regretted his words as soon as he said them. Damn your mouth. Thor wanted to slap himself. Strange was surprisingly angry at Thor's humiliation. He was right to be angry. The goddess he loved most was snatched away by the fat man in front of him. His flowing black hair was getting thinner and thinner, while the other's blonde hair was still very thick. He had been controlling his diet for years to maintain his figure and image, while the other ate and drank all kinds of junk food, and was as fat as a ginger cat, and girls liked him. Especially now, he dared to come to the basement and laugh at him. Even if the other party was a god, this was too much. Strange felt that he needed to fight for his dignity. He said with a gloomy face, Soon it won't be, I will make all your hair fall out. His hands were ablaze with flames, and he decided that even if he died, he would burn Thor into a bald head. Chapter 928, Non-toxic, harmless, no side effects, the key is to prevent hair loss. Wait, Strange. Put out your magic flame first. I'm not here to fight with you. I really have something to discuss with you, and I'm serious. You're not a member of the Asian Falun Gong group, why are you playing with fire? Thor was trying hard to speak, he wanted Strange to calm down. But Strange was angry, really angry. The fat husky in front of him was the culprit of all his disasters. Looking back on the past, although I, Strange, was a scumbag, I was a happy scumbag. From time to time, I published some articles in The Lancet, and I was a guest of honor at medical lectures all over the world. My fame was so great that countless rich people lined up to see me. I also had so much money that I was already one of the top earners in the medical industry. I was also so handsome that countless women fell at my feet. I was a scumbag, so what? I was a happy scumbag. But everything changed because of the fat man in front of me. I should have continued to be a happy scumbag. But the appearance of this fat Alaska disrupted his plan. He first seduced his ex-girlfriend, I have never forgotten, Christine, and then provoked me about Penny's illness, which touched my long-lost conscience. Then I actually performed Penny's surgery because of my uneasy conscience, and finally joined Doctors Without Borders. Well, if the matter stopped here, I, Strange, would not be so angry. The real anger is still to come. If I hadn't joined Doctors Without Borders, I wouldn't have gone to Chile. If I hadn't gone to Chile, I wouldn't have encountered a group of intelligent robots, sentinels, slaughtering the locals. If there hadn't been a slaughter of the locals by the sentinel robots, then Nightcrawler and his friends wouldn't have appeared. If Nightcrawler and his friends hadn't appeared, I wouldn't have been inexplicably brought to Kamartaki. If I didn't go to Kamartaki, I wouldn't have needed to learn magic. If I didn't learn magic, I wouldn't be qualified to compete for the position of the Supreme Sorcerer. If I wasn't qualified to participate in the competition for the position of the Supreme Sorcerer, I wouldn't have become a thorn in Doom's side. If I hadn't sought to protect myself because I had become a thorn in Doom's side, I wouldn't have to work so hard to learn magic. If I hadn't had to work so hard to learn magic to deal with various problems that might arise in the future, I wouldn't have to drink this kind of drink with side effects. Land has already told Strange about the sow injection of liquid milk. It's up to him to choose whether to drink it or not. If I didn't drink these drinks with huge side effects, hair loss, I wouldn't have to use Dawn 101 every day to protect my hair. And now, the fat lightning guy opposite me actually has the face to laugh at my hair. Who does he think caused all this? Exclamation mark. Who is the culprit who made me lose my hair? Exclamation mark. Strange has a clear relationship. To him, the culprit of everything starts with the fat lightning guy. This fat lightning guy now dares to show off his long golden hair in front of him? What can a man endure? I'm going to fight you and let you know the anger of a hair care wizard. Strange didn't listen to Thor's explanation, and two flames directly transformed from his hands into two fire whips. He swung the fire whip and attacked Thor's head. He knew that he might not be able to burn Thor, but he had to burn Thor's hair. Let him know what it means to point at a monk and scold a bald donkey. Are you crazy? Thor was shocked. He didn't expect Strange to really dare to do it. When the fire whip was about to approach him, a lightning shield appeared in front of him to help him block the fire whip. Strange's left-hand Zhuan ring made a swipe and directly opened a space door behind Thor's right. He recovered the fire whip and turned it into a fire claw, and then directly grabbed Thor's long hair through the space door. IXXXX. Thor was almost hit by Strange's words when he was not careful. However, this also made Thor angry. He directly covered his whole body with the power of thunder, and then performed a charge and grab at Strange like a rugby player. Strange waved his right hand and forcibly disrupted the direction of space. If Lan was here, she could make Thor lose his sense of space left and right, up and down, and run to who knows where with a wave of her hand. But Strange's current magic attainments are obviously far behind. His forced twisting of space only made Thor feel a slight dizziness, but it was soon broken. Although the angle was a little off, Thor's shoulder still hit Strange's stomach hard. Poof! Strange felt that his overnight meal was about to be knocked out. He was now like being attacked by a polar bear, and the whole person was knocked out like a sack. He quickly operated magic, and a wizard's hand caught him in the void. Then he wanted to give Thor a big fireball or something with his backhand. But before he could operate the magic, a huge thunder was already suspended in front of his eyes. Thor said to Strange, "Do you still want to fight? Mr. Strange." Strange's face was livid, and he felt humiliated. In fact, it's not his fault. How long has he learned magic? Can he defeat Thor now? Especially this Thor is the Thor who awakened his own abilities earlier than in the original story and knows what he should fight for. Instead of the guy who can be called Thor because of his hammer, but is actually the god of hammer. You are too young to fight with me. Thor saw Strange withdraw his magic, and he also withdrew the power of thunder and said, "At least you should be like Lan. If you want to use your strength to take revenge, or to humiliate me, then please at least become the Supreme Sorcerer first." Now Strange feels that he has a reason to become the Supreme Sorcerer. He thought angrily in his heart. Thor glanced at the basement. The entire basement was almost destroyed by the moment the two people just started fighting, and many furniture were broken. When Li Ji comes back, he will definitely complain. But there is no way. Who told him not to help? Thor thought so. Then he looked at Strange again. This man's magic improved very quickly. Especially the use of space magic just now was very good. Although it is far inferior to Lan, it should be enough for this operation. Thor decided to fool Strange. Well, no. It is to persuade him to participate in this operation. But what methods should be used to attract him? Thor fell into thinking. When he unconsciously moved his eyes to the Dawn 101 hair tonic at the corner, a thought came to his mind. Strange, seriously. I'm not here to fight with you today. I need your help with something. Thor found a good stool and sat down. Strange still looked grim and said, Don't worry, I won't help. Thor raised his eyebrows and said, Don't you want to hear the reward I offer? Something that can keep your brain running at high speed and thinking active for a long time, and has the same function as those special drinks in Kamartaki. Huh. Strange smiled, I already have it. Thor looked at Strange and smiled, and he used his trump card, but the thing I'm talking about is non-toxic, harmless, and has no side effects. The key is that it won't cause hair loss. Strange looked at Thor in shock. Chapter 929, Fooling and Fooling Again. Strange fell into an unprecedented tangle, and a huge choice branch appeared in his life. One is to continue to use sow injection milk, actually Kamartaki's special drink, and use this thing to strengthen his spirit to learn magic. This thing is very good, very good. The only bad thing is that it will make your hair fall out after drinking it. So Lan, with long hair, refused to drink this thing. Now there is another choice in front of Strange. The lightning fat man opposite recalled the appearance of Li Ji in his memory, and then put on a seductive expression and tone and said, I have a great thing, do you know? Strange, of course I don't know. Lightning fat Thor continued, this great thing is called the Fountain of Wisdom. It was obtained by my father Odin in the deepest and most dangerous place of the endless sea. He paid an eye as the price for this, and that was an eye of the god King Odin. It is worth any treasure you can imagine in the world. My father brought back the Fountain of Wisdom, which is much better than the magic water brewed in Kamartaki. It can do everything it can do, and you don't have to worry about hair loss. Thor looked straight at Strange. So, now I need you to do me a small favor. Then as a reward, I can find a way to get you a drop of the Fountain of Wisdom. Strange looked at Thor with his eyes slanted, 1 drop. It sounds like he is very dissatisfied with the quantity of this thing. What can 1 drop do? Although Thor praised this thing as being the best in the world and how precious it is, he has never seen it after all, and he doesn't know whether what Thor said is true or not. If it is true, maybe he still needs it. It's not that Strange needs to inherit the position of the Supreme Sorcerer, but because he has a terrible senior brother above him. This senior brother is called Doom. A very casual and self-centered person. He can spend tens of billions of dollars to Tuvalu just to make other countries' leaders unhappy. Even if Strange is in New York, he can imagine that Doom must have laughed like crazy at that time. Ha 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 ha. Yes, this is a very crazy person. He has always been the only one who makes others unhappy to satisfy his own happiness. And as one of the heirs to the position of the Supreme Sorcerer and Doom's junior brother, it is obvious that his existence makes Doom very unhappy. What will be the consequences of making a person who is dedicated to making others unhappy? It's probably like, whoever makes me unhappy for a moment, I will make him unhappy for the rest of his life. Obviously, Strange doesn't want to be Doom's punching bag, so he must make himself improve and improve. Not to compete for position, but to prevent himself from being miserable in the future. So magic must be practiced in order to survive in the future. This is why Strange continues to drink this drink even though he knows it has a huge side effect, Lan, it just causes hair loss. At the same time, he spends a lot of money to buy Dawn 101 to keep his hair. And now Thor has made a new proposal, a proposal that can branch out his life. The Fountain of Wisdom can make your brain smarter and more useful. 1 drop is enough, and it will permanently transform you. Drinking more will not be more useful. Thor said this to Strange and kept tempting him. Think about it, from now on you can get rid of the trouble of hair loss. Keep your smooth black chestnut hair. You can make it into any hairstyle. Afro, punk party or Elvis Presley's airplane head. All this requires you to do me a very, very small favor. Strange was quickly tempted, if what Thor said was true. Well, you can consider it. Strange was really moved when he saw Thor say this. But after looking at Thor carefully, he suddenly found a question and raised it. Wait a minute. If the Fountain of Wisdom is as useful as you said, and can also improve thinking and IQ, why didn't you use it? Strange's question was too tricky. Thor didn't know how to answer for a moment. But after a brief thought, Thor immediately said, "No, actually I used it. I drank a drop." Strange looked Thor up and down. He didn't say anything. But his eyes told Thor, "Why do you look so stupid after drinking this thing?" Thor felt humiliated, but he quickly suppressed his anger. Because he knew that after this matter was over, Strange on the opposite side might feel more humiliated than himself. So he said seriously, "Actually I drank it. I'm not lying to you. This is actually a secret. When I was a child, my lightning ability was too strong, which oppressed the growth of my brain. Okay, I admit it. I was actually a retard when I was a child. In fact, it was the fountain of wisdom that saved me once, otherwise you probably wouldn't see me standing here." Thor said this to Strange very seriously. Hearing Thor say this, Strange raised his eyebrows. For some reason, a sense of superiority from the bottom of his heart arose spontaneously. "Strange, I really need your help. Just this time, only this time." Thor felt that he had made such a great sacrifice, and even slandered himself as a mentally retarded person. If he still couldn't trick Strange, then he would lose a lot. Strange thought seriously for a while, and then looked at Thor again. He paced back and forth in the room. "A drop of the fountain of wisdom, a drop of the fountain of wisdom. Can you definitely get it for me? I swear. I will definitely get it for you, otherwise I will never be able to inherit the throne of Asgard in this life." Thor made a solemn oath. Well, at least Strange felt that this was a solemn oath. Of course, Thor actually doesn't care about the throne, otherwise he wouldn't stay on Earth. Is there a fountain of wisdom? Of course there is, but Thor doesn't know whether Odin brought out the extra part from the endless sea. Yes, that's right, all the above stories are made up by Thor. At that moment, Thor felt that maybe Odin did bring out the fountain of wisdom, and maybe he did drink it. Well, but the effect may not be as great as Loki's. After thinking it over again and again, Strange asked, "Okay, just this time, we'll be even after this. What do you want me to help you with?" Thor breathed a sigh of relief and finally took the bait. He smiled and replied, "It's a very simple thing. We just went to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the cosmic cube. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 930. Am I handsome? Strange was persuaded by Thor, and finally decided to help Thor go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the cosmic cube. Because the temptation of the fountain of wisdom was too great for Strange. There is an old saying, people die for money, and birds die for food. There is another old saying, greed makes people lose their minds. There is another old saying that is even better, horse-faced hair loss wizards always lose their minds when facing hair growth. Strange suspected that the king of Kamartaji and the bald wizards such as Ancient One must have secretly used the Dawn 101 hair growth water in private. Strange, I have used it, I don't believe they haven't used it, but it may be because their hair follicles have completely died, and they died straight. So Dawn 101 has no effect on them. Strange is very worried that the practice of magic will cause irreversible damage to his beautiful hair. What will happen if he becomes the same hairstyle as the king in the future? He will probably choose to trade with the devil and exchange his hair for some price. I am not Doom. This guy wears an iron mask all day long to prevent people from seeing his real face. It is said that he is disfigured. Look at it. Even the most terrible demon king and dictator in this world are ashamed to see people because of disfigurement. I have to wear an iron mask for myself. Why can't I care more about my appearance? If Li Ji is here and knows Strange's thoughts, then he will be more certain of the correctness of his implementation of the X-Beauty plan. Look, the pursuit of beauty will not change because of the change of identity. Even the candidate for the next Supreme Sorcerer is worried about his hair, right? Beautiful life, Shuguang technology. It is a completely correct decision for me to make Tony Stark into an all-round beauty emperor. But there is one thing Strange didn't say completely right, that is about Doom. Because he said that Doom was ashamed to see people wearing an iron mask because his face was disfigured. This matter is already old news. Because it is at this moment, right now. Li Ji came to Latveria with a product that could change the world. He stood in front of Doom and handed him the gift he had prepared. X-Beauty Rebirth Potion, this is a special version for you. Li Ji solemnly took out a tube of blue potion from his suitcase and handed it to Doom. This is a special potion made with Mystique's X gene. We will not mass-produce this potion. This is specially for you. Doom took the potion and asked with interest, why? Li Ji explained, because this potion can change your facial features, just like the wounds on your face. You can directly smooth them out and restore them to their original appearance through the energy of the potion. And this one is permanent. If you want, you can also fine-tune your facial features, make your eyes bigger, your nose more handsome and straight, and have dimples at the corners of your mouth. If you like, you can also adjust the size of your eyelids. Li Ji shrugged and said, to put it simply, with this potion, you have a 24-hour microplastic surgeon who can change your general appearance anytime and anywhere. And what's better than plastic surgery is that it doesn't require surgery. You don't have to worry about exposing the prosthesis when participating in certain activities. Dum picked up the potion and said with some admiration, it sounds great. If it is produced in large quantities, I believe this thing can bankrupt all plastic surgery hospitals in the world. Why not produce it in large quantities? Li Ji motioned for Dum to lie on the sofa on the side. He was going to inject Dum with the potion. There are many reasons. One of them is that this ability is too simple and easy to obtain, which will make it easy for people to use it in criminal projects. A criminal who can change his appearance 24 hours a day, and even change the shape of his facial bones, is very difficult to catch. Dum smiled. He didn't seem to agree with Li Ji's point of view. Your idea is a little out of date. When plastic surgery first appeared, there were such concerns. People thought that criminals could evade legal sanctions through plastic surgery. But in reality, there will always be weapons to deal with these things. Criminal activities will not stop just because something appears or does not appear. Crime cannot be completely eliminated. The only thing you can do is to curb it. Doom has his own opinion on this. Technology is always a double-edged sword. Any technology that looks good may bring another reaction. So we should not resist technology, but see the benefits of technological development and reduce the disadvantages of technology. For example, Viagra was first invented as a drug to fight pharyngitis. Who could have thought of the changes it brought later? Good intentions do not necessarily have good results. Li Ji looked at Doom in confusion. So you are also a victim of Viagra products? Sorry, I was kidding. Li Ji felt a terrible momentum emanating from Doom and apologized immediately. In fact, I still agree with what you said. So Stark Group and Osborn Group have begun to work together to develop law enforcement equipment for criminal cases that may be caused by the new X-agent. It is always better to prepare for a rainy day than to mend the fold after the sheep have bolted. Li Ji talked about their layout of the entire industrial chain. From production to after-sales service, and finally to the social problems that may arise. We must fundamentally control the entire industry chain. Minimize the worst possible consequences. When Doom heard Li Ji say this, he chuckled. It's like a gun seller who sells guns to criminals and police at the same time, right? Li Ji shook his head. We will try our best to prevent guns from falling into the hands of criminals, but I dare not guarantee this. So we can only guarantee that the police must have more powerful guns than criminals to fight criminals. That's a good idea. Doom nodded in agreement. Li Ji had finished disinfecting, and he injected the drug into Doom's body through an intravenous injection. The blue drug began to change the structure of Doom's body little by little. At this time, Li Ji said, there is actually another reason why we will not and do not want to produce this potion. Because the function of this potion is too comprehensive. The ability of one potion is stronger than that of many other potions, which is not conducive to the development of our other product lines. Doom felt the effect of the potion in his body, and he said, so what ultimately drives you is the power of capital? Since squeezing toothpaste can bring enough profit, there is no need to invest all the good things at once. It's like Intel making chips. Li Ji nodded after injecting the potion. Yes, that's what I mean. The X-Beautiful Newborn potion will be controlled within a range that we can control. There is no need to launch many things that are difficult for us to regulate at one time. We can learn from Intel and become a toothpaste manufacturer. Make something that can change the world, but not out of our control. Doom did not speak. He was quietly feeling the changes that the potion brought to his body. He was trying to control this force and let them rebuild his destroyed face according to his wishes. Li Ji waited patiently on the side, and even had time to play several games of Genshin Impact. After more than half an hour, Doom finally sat up from the sofa. He stretched his arms and legs, and finally took off the iron mask that had been on his head for so many years. He stroked his smooth skin with his fingers, and there were no more wrinkles like ditches. Doom smiled and asked Li Ji, who was playing mobile games, "Am I handsome?" Chapter 931. Because I don't want to see her cry. Is Doom handsome or not? I think when Doom stands in front of anyone and asks this question, it is difficult for anyone to give the most correct answer in the fastest and most certain way. Handsome, handsome to the extreme. Much more handsome than strange. Li Ji put down his phone and gave a thumbs up. He is so handsome that thousands of girls will be attracted by him. There must be girls who will shout, "Dr. Doom, I want to have a baby with you." Your compliment is not sincere at all. It's too exaggerated. Although Dr. Doom said this, Li Ji could see the smile on his lips. This proves that he actually enjoyed it. Look, the world-class dictator who is feared by everyone doesn't care about his appearance. After all, he is still a human being, not a piece of wood without desires. Doom does care about his appearance, because he is really handsome. A standard middle-aged handsome uncle, with bright eyes and frivolous eyebrows. The tightly closed lips give people a sense of determination. If he stood with Tony Stark, then Tony might be outshined by Doom. You know, Tony was voted the most attractive man between 30 and 40 by fashion magazines such as Bazaar, and he has won this honor for 3 consecutive years. Oh, by the way, fashion magazines such as Bazaar also voted Captain Steve Rogers as the sexiest 90-year-old man in the world. It is said that his hot sexiness is more lethal to women than many 20-year-old boys. So Captain Rogers was voted the first in the list of the sexiest men over 60 years old, and also ranked first in the list of men that women most want to marry in the world. Well, a group of beautiful girls in their 20s leave messages on the Weibo of a 90-year-old man every day, clamoring to give birth to a baby for him every day. Do you dare to believe this? So Li Ji has deep doubts about whether such selections by magazines such as Bazaar are fair, although Captain Rogers was born in the 1920s. The age on the certificate is indeed over 90 years old. But do you really classify him as an elderly person? This is unfair to other old people. In view of this, Li Ji questioned the authority of fashion magazines such as Bazaar. However, he used some of the content in it to praise Doom. Why do you have to be so serious? Because your eyes will not deceive you. Handsome is handsome, and beautiful is beautiful. Most humans are superficial, and we just like those superficial things. Doom adjusted his collar, then walked into the cloakroom and started to change clothes. He looked at himself in the mirror in front of him and said, "You are right. Humans are so superficial." Doom seemed to be in a good mood. Today, he actually took off his steel armor and started to change into a very beautiful and well-fitting casual suit. He even had the mood to talk about some past events with Li Ji. In fact, when Doom was young and went to college with Reed and Susan, many girls liked him. The reason is simple: Doom is handsome. Although he is a cold person, as long as he is handsome and cold, he will be called cold male god, goddess. If you are an ugly monster, you still want to be cold. Sorry, others will only talk about ugly people are more likely to do weird things or being cool is because you are too ugly, so you have low self-esteem behind your back. Don't feel unfair. This world is so superficial. Either change it or adapt to it. In an experiment, Doom's face was disfigured due to an experimental accident. And the people who were doing the experiment with him at the time were Reed and Susan. When Doom said this, Li Ji had an unstoppable bizarre idea in his heart. That is, was this accident an accident, or was it deliberately created by Dr. Reed? Because it is not difficult to see from the story Dr. Reed told before. At that time, Dr. Reed was pursuing Susan, and Susan's relationship with Doom was even better than her relationship with Reed. So could it be that Dr. Reed created an accident and then disfigured Doom? Then Doom dropped out of school and left New York because of the disfigurement. And his facial damage has never been treated by ordinary means. So he embarked on the path of seeking mysticism, and then when he was young, he heard the story of Kamartaki in the western regions of China. There are also various strange mystical legends. It should be said that Doom can become the candidate of Kamartaji's supreme sorcerer today, and perhaps the accident in the experiment at that time may also be a key pusher. However, Li Ji did not dare to speak out his thoughts, because this was completely his own conjecture, without any real evidence. Although it seems that Dr. Reed was a little bit not so, well, not as good as he is now, not as humble as he is now. It should be that the 2 big bankruptcies made Dr. Reed see the reality clearly and live more clearly. So Li Ji did not speak out his conjecture at all, because it might make Dr. Reed fall into Doom's hatred. While Li Ji was thinking about it, Doom had already walked out of the cloakroom. He put on an extremely bright white casual suit with a burgundy shirt inside. He did not wear a tie, and the top 2 buttons were not buttoned. You can directly see his chest muscles that he has developed due to long-term exercise. Doom is a very tall and strong man, and he fits the definition of Kamartaji for a high-level male wizard. Strong, powerful, and able to wield a giant axe as tall as a person. Li Ji looked at Doom in surprise, and asked, "You are so handsome. Are you going to the bar tonight?" Doom adjusted his sleeve buttons and snorted, "No, I'm going to find Reed. Some accounts should be settled." Li Ji suddenly had a bad idea. Yes, he would suspect Dr. Reed. Then how could Doom, who is even more suspicious, not associate the accident of the experiment with Reed over the years? No matter whether it was done by Reed or it was really an accident. With Doom's personality, does he need a reason to suspect someone and then kill someone? Does he need it? Li Ji quickly asked his question, and he was also very curious. If Doom had suspected that it was Reed's motive all these years, of course, it is more likely that it was not Reed's doing. Why didn't he seek revenge on Reed earlier? With his ability, it shouldn't be difficult to kill a scientist in the United States. Doom used the Xuan ring to open the space door. He turned around and looked at Li Ji seriously and said, "It's fine if Reed didn't do it. If Reed really did it, then I'm in this state. As Reed's lover and the fuse of the whole thing, Susan will probably be heartbroken and guilty. She will feel guilty about my irreversible injuries. And before I find a way to heal myself, I won't see her or ask any questions." Doom's eyes were extremely serious, and what he said made Li Ji feel it for the first time. As the world's largest dictator, Dr. Doom, who is also known as the Great Tyrant, he has a soft side in his heart. Because everything I do may make her cry. And I don't want to see her cry for me. In the past, now, and in the future. Chapter 932. Long time no see, my friend. Doom went to see Dr. Reed, and Li Ji felt that he had to go with him. Although Li Ji was a little dissatisfied with Dr. Reed's dealings with the Skrulls, he didn't want Dr. Reed to have any problems during this period. Because Dr. Reed still had many important things to deal with. For example, developing a new powerful hemorrhoid cream. Yes, it was a powerful hemorrhoid cream. Anyway, it was something like this for the people on Earth. Because the medicine that Dr. Reed had previously studied to lock the Skrulls' genes was specifically used to treat hemorrhoids for the people on Earth. And when he went bankrupt, he sold this invention to China's Menglong plaster factory. And Menglong factory used this formula to develop a new hemorrhoid cream and eye cream. It is said that the eye cream and hemorrhoid cream actually used the same formula, and began to market them all over the world. Because Menglong has begun large-scale production of this ointment, they have done a great favor to the bigwigs of the Illuminati. At least they don't need to temporarily set up a production line to produce this medicine. However, it is not enough to rely on hemorrhoid cream to deal with the Skrulls, because you can't pull out the pants of every Skrull, right? Moreover, the effect of this potion is only a gene lock. In the face of the possible Skrull war in the future, the simple gene lock potion is actually not too threatening. And I believe that with the wisdom of the Skrulls, they should not be so easy to be tricked. Maybe those cows are special cases. So Dr. Red needs to continue to study more powerful potions. Because Li Ji proposed the idea of asymmetric warfare at that time. The Skrulls came to Earth from the Andromeda Galaxy. If the Stargate was not built, it would take hundreds of years for the Skrulls to reach Earth by themselves with a large fleet. And such a long time is enough for humans to launch a technological explosion. At that time, let alone defeating the Skrulls, we only need to be able to stalemate with the other party, or let them suffer a greater loss. In this way, we can force the other party not to attack. After all, the number of people who will die in the war is not simply a few Skrulls who have turned into cows. As long as the brains of the Skrull senior leaders are not broken, it is easy for them to make judgments. Therefore, the short-term goal of Li Ji and the Illuminati is to kill the Chitauri first. If the Skrulls go into battle themselves and send a small fleet to fight together, then use biological weapons specifically designed to deal with the Skrulls to deal with them. Then, we will hold on to the Nova Corps and give the Earth enough buffer time. Let the Earth civilization take the most difficult first step towards cosmic civilization and gain a firm foothold. After the first step is firmly established, the rest of the things will become easier to operate. In the long run, the Nova Corps will be used as a bridge of communication, and the Guardians of the Galaxy will be the introduction. And Star-Lord is one of the key figures. Through so many days of sugar-coated cannonball attacks on other members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Illuminati learned an astonishing fact, that is, Star-Lord is actually the first heir to the Spartan Empire, a cosmic civilization in the Milky Way. Although the Spartan Empire cannot be compared with the Skrulls, they are also a cosmic empire that rules several star systems. In terms of strength, I don't know how many times stronger it is than the Earth. So Lee Ji even felt that it was really hard to understand what this person was thinking when Star-Lord, a good prince, went to the Nova Corps to be a temporary worker who could take the blame at any time. If Star-Lord inherited the Spartan Empire in the future, it might be a good thing for the Earth. After all, Star-Lord himself was close to the Earth. If the leader of a cosmic country had a good impression of the Earth, it would be very helpful for the development of the Earth's cosmic diplomacy. The young Sam was another important point. His father had an unparalleled glorious time in the Nova Corps. For Sam, his father's influence was both good and bad. The bad thing was that he would definitely be compared with his father as a hero's son. The good thing was that most of his father's comrades in arms and those who had received his favor were now in high positions in the Nova Corps. As long as Sam worked hard, they were willing to support Sam. In addition, Sam inherited the position of a supernova. As long as he was willing to work hard and show his talent, his position in the Nova Corps would not be low in the future. If a senior member of the Nova Corps came from Earth in the future, it would be the best thing for Earth civilization. Although the Nova Corps is an interstellar organization and does not belong to any civilization. But it is very important to have a high-level person who can have a say in such a large organization. Especially since the Milky Way is the headquarters of the Nova Corps, and the Earth civilization happens to live in the Milky Way, under the eyes of the Nova Corps. But all this is a matter for the future, and it may take more than 20 years to plan these things. But in the long run, the Illuminati needs to plan these things. And now, the most important thing is to survive the crisis at hand. So Dr. Reed's work is very important. He has to develop a stronger potion to restrain the Skrulls. This potion is very dangerous, just like the threat of nuclear bombs to humans. The Illuminati, including Lee Ji, hope that Reed can develop a weapon that is threatening, but preferably not necessary to use. Just like the plot of the second part of the Earth Past novel trilogy, Earth Past, Dark Forest. Just like the threat of Luo Ji, the swordsman, to perish together with the Trisolarans. Reed wants to develop a drug that not only locks the genes of the Skrulls, but also researches a gene virus that can cause their genes to become diseased, or even spread only among the Skrulls. If the Skrulls want to completely destroy the Earth civilization, then the Illuminati is also ready to fight to the death. They will send this virus to all parts of the universe. Anyway, through the Guardians of the Galaxy, they know a lot of transit stations in the Milky Way. I believe that there must be guys who don't get along with the Skrulls and use these viruses to deal with the Skrulls. Of course, this is the last step. Just like Luo Ji will not easily press the button in his hand to broadcast a location of the Earth and the Trisolarans to the universe. This is a thorough means of mutual destruction. However, Dr. Reed's current research has encountered some obstacles because he lacks enough samples. He does not have enough Skrull beef to advance his plan. After all, the Angus Ranch was completely destroyed, and now you can't even find so much beef that the Angus Ranch sold that year. There is not much even if it is frozen. So Dr. Reed is scratching his head. At this time, Doom, who had restored his appearance, came directly to his laboratory through the space gate. He was wearing a white suit, shiny black leather shoes, and a sexy burgundy shirt. His hair was also styled with hairspray. As soon as Doom appeared, he said in a slick tone that gave Lee Ji goosebumps, "Long time no see, my friend." Chapter 933 I just can't hold it back. Long time no see, my old friend. Doom appeared in Dr. Reed's laboratory in a well-dressed and elegant manner. Dr. Reed, who was testing a new drug, was startled. Susan, who was helping him, looked at Doom in disbelief after hearing this voice, and then said in an even more incredible voice, "Doom. Is that you?" Doom bowed slightly. "Yes, that's right, Susan. It's me, your old friend, Doom." Susan opened her mouth wide, and Reed put down the work in his hands. He looked at the handsome face in front of him, and it overlapped with a face in his memory. Yes, this is his college classmate, Doom, whom he had always disliked. But wasn't he disfigured? Reed still remembered the experiment at that time. It can be said that the experiment completely destroyed Doom's proud and handsome face. And now Doom has recovered? Reed looked at Doom in disbelief, and the surprise in his voice was no less than Susan's. Doom, but your face. Li Ji came with Doom, fearing that Doom would be stimulated and kill Dr. Reed or something. Because Dr. Reed is still very important. So Li Ji has actually been secretly on guard against Doom's attack and fear that he would hurt Dr. Reed. Doom smiled evilly. Li Ji, well, at least I think he smiled evilly, and said, surprised? Actually, But before Doom finished speaking, Dr. Reed and Susan suddenly rushed up excitedly and grabbed Doom's shoulders on the left and right. This made Doom hold back his words, and he didn't know what was happening suddenly. Could it be that Reed felt that the truth had been revealed and wanted to do something to him? And Susan was actually the helper behind the whole thing? She had known for a long time that everything many years ago was not an accident? So she was helping Reed get rid of herself now? Doom's heart was in 1,000 twists and turns in an instant, with anger and sighs. But these two people think too highly of themselves. Although Doom, I'm not wearing the armor of destruction now. But it does not mean that I have no ability to resist. I am now a dignified wizard who can fight head-on. Doom felt that he had to show his magical power. Li Ji, who was just watching the scene, could not figure out what was going on for a while. And just as Doom, the destruction wizard, was preparing to perform his magic, Dr. Reed suddenly said loudly, "Your appearance has been restored? That's great. That's great." There was no falsehood in his tone. Instead, he really sounded like someone who cared about his old classmates and friends. And Susan also looked at Doom with tears in her eyes. She said excitedly, That's great. I'm so excited that you can appear in front of us like this today. It's really great. Oh, what's the situation now?" Not to mention that Li Ji couldn't figure it out. Even Doom himself was confused. "You know what? Actually, we have been trying to find a potion to cure your appearance for many years. We have made some progress, but it is not enough." Reed patted Doom's shoulder vigorously and said, "Today I am happy to see you recover. As an old classmate, this is my happiest moment." The way it unfolded was completely different from what Doom had expected. However, he still found some doubts in Reed's words. He asked with some doubt, "Help me recover my appearance? Why? Is it because he feels guilty for tampering with the experiment?" Reed looked at Doom and said seriously, "I was a terrible person when I was young. You know, a very terrible person. You and I didn't get along. We competed in school for all kinds of things. From academic performance to social practice, and even the pursuit of Susan." Reed said these words very frankly. "At that time, I hated you very much. Even when the experiment went wrong and you were completely disfigured, I felt a little bit of gloating. I think it was God's revenge and punishment on you, punishing you for destroying my ecosphere plan. God knows how crazy I was at that time. Now I think it's right for you to destroy my ecosphere plan at that time. At that time, I really thought highly of myself and forgot everything." Reed said these words, recalling the past. His frankness made Doom unsure whether the accident had anything to do with Reed. "And now I understand a lot of things. I also understand that the competition between you and me at that time actually didn't have much meaning." Reed said this generously. At the same time, Susan also walked to Reed and stood beside him and said to Doom, "Yes, Doom. We have been wanting to see you for these years, but we are afraid to evoke your memories of the past and the terrible accident. We have always been afraid that these will cast a shadow on you. You want to see me?" Doom felt more and more confused. He claimed to be one of the few smart people in the world, but the current situation was really beyond his control and understanding. "Why do you want to see me?" Doom asked doubtfully, and Li Ji, who was watching on the side, also wanted to know. Because what happened at the scene was beyond his understanding. "It's a long story. But can I say that you have actually been my role model for a period of time?" Dr. Reed said this, which surprised Doom even more. "You know, my life is not very successful. You blew up the ecosystem project that I was determined to win the Nobel Prize for. After that, I participated in a lot of research work in the laboratory and made money, but I lost everything because of the investment failure." Li Ji knew the story of Reed's investment failure. This genius scientist first invested in Lehman Brothers, and then the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers triggered the Wall Street crisis. The subprime mortgage crisis affected the whole world. After finally climbing out of the quagmire of debt, he invested in Enron, But this top 10 investment bank in the United States also went bankrupt immediately. This investment did not bring Reed a penny of profit, but owed millions of dollars in huge debts. It can be said that the two bankruptcies had a huge impact on Reed's life. To be honest, that was the darkest period of my life. I even thought about using various improper means to seek profits to repay debts and make profits. Fortunately, Susan stopped me at that time. Reed patted Susan's hand beside him. She always encourages me in my ear. Whenever I can't hold on any longer, she always reminds me, "Are you working hard? But can you work harder than Doom?" His face was destroyed, but he was still strong, and he even unified Latveria. Others say he's a tyrant and a dictator, but we all know what kind of person Doom is. Under his leadership, Latveria is at least much better than when Eastern Europe was divided. I believe he can bring all the conveniences of food, clothing, housing and transportation to his people, and he will do better than most rulers. Look at Doom, look at yourself. You have been comparing yourself to Doom since school. Now Doom is the king of a country, and he has accomplished all this with an injured body. You are just bankrupt, a simple bankruptcy. Can the difficulties you face be more difficult than Doom's unification of Latveria from scratch? Even today, Latveria is already a regional power in Eastern Europe that cannot be ignored. Do you want to lose to Doom? Show your courage, Richards. Do you think you are not as good as Doom, or do you think you will lose to a seriously injured person? You are much luckier than Doom, at least I am still by your side. If you are a man, stand up. You have the ability. Or did I choose the wrong person at the beginning, and I should be with Doom instead of you? Dr. Reed imitated Susan's tone and said these words. Susan hid her head behind Dr. Reed embarrassedly. Whenever Susan said these words, there was always a kind of blood boiling in my heart. I actually always regarded you as a competitor. It was before and it is still now. But the meaning of competition is different now. Dr. Reed looked at Doom and said seriously. Now you have become a role model for me to remind myself more often, although sometimes you are really crazy. But I have always admired your persistence and hard work. This is spurring me to keep moving forward and find ways to make myself better and better. Doom on the opposite side was completely confused. What? He became everything he did and became a role model for Reed? Inspired him to get out of the dark valley? Wait. This shouldn't be the way it all unfolded. Looking at the completely confused Doom, Nightwalker Lee Ji stood in the corner and tried hard to hold back his laughter. Doom dressed so coquettishly today and made so many preparations, he certainly didn't expect to encounter such a thing. He couldn't laugh. If he laughed, Doom would definitely make trouble for him. Hold it back, haha. Lee Ji finally couldn't hold back a laugh, but quickly held back the ha that followed. But even so, Doom glared at him angrily. Facing Doom's murderous eyes, Lee Ji said lightly, "What are you looking at? Can't a superhero hold back his fart?" Chapter 934 Generous Lee Ji. Anyway, Lee Ji faced Doom's gaze without fear. What's wrong? Superheroes are not human? Superheroes can fart? Why do you care when I farted? I farted, you can hit me if you dare. It's not like superheroes don't eat grains or worry about food. Take Blade for example. The success of the Iron Man movie has boosted the entire Marvel industry. Comics and peripheral products have been expanded, not only Iron Man's own products, but also the sales of other characters' comics. For example, Blade's comics have always been second-tier publications in the company, with sales only slightly better than Hawkeye, which was launched not long ago. When it was at its best, it was tied with the comics of Agents of SHIELD and Iron Fist. Blade's popularity is there, but it has never been too high. So the copyright fees that Lee Ji's Marvel company pays Blade every quarter are not very high. The highest and most explosive copyright fee is only about $100,000, before tax deduction. Blade has always lived a tight life, although he has a decent salary in S.H.I.E.L.D., plus the copyright fees, he should live a very free life. However, because he bought a luxury villa in Midtown Manhattan, New York, his family's assets were completely emptied and he was in debt. In addition, the property tax in New York has increased dramatically, especially in Manhattan. The increase in some property taxes often outperforms the increase in house prices. So Blade has always been worried about money. Although Janet Lynn, Blade's girlfriend, now living together, has proposed countless times that she can directly use her credit card to repay the loan. Because as a special scientist in Osborn's blood and genetics, Janet Lynn's annual income is much higher than Blade. But Blade is a very old-fashioned man, a man who thinks that men should be the backbone of the family. It can be said that he has a little bit of male chauvinism at work. So he has never accepted Janet Lynn's proposal. In order to save Blade, who loves to save face, Janet Lynn can't force anything. So Blade's life was always tight. Every month when he had to pay off various bank card bills, he would take out his little notebook and calculator to start calculating which amount of money he should pay first this month and which amount he could pay later. How should he pay his Social Security, medical insurance and other security deposits? And how much tax should he pay during the tax season? If he missed a payment, the tax police would come to his house to collect the debt. So when the increase in Iron Man's sales also led to an increase in Blade sales, Leegee paid Blade $160,000 in copyright fees this quarter. This was the highest copyright fee Blade had ever received. He almost cried on the spot. Leegee still remembered the tough guy holding the check tightly and praying to the sky. However, after he got the money, he spent more than $50,000 to buy a new car. Leegee felt that it was necessary to remind him that it was better to save money, so as not to spend it all and fall into financial crisis. Just like Dr. Reed. The story of Blade is actually an example. No matter how superheroes appear in big movies or comics, how brave and resolute they are. But to be frank, they are still human beings, first of all human beings, and secondly superheroes. They are hungry even if they don't eat, and they feel pain when they are beaten. So what's wrong with Leegee consciously saying that he can't hold back a fart? Who stipulates that superheroes are not allowed to fart? Doom stared at Leegee for a long time. Anyway, Leegee kept insisting that he just farted, and it was definitely not a snicker. Under Leegee's repeated insistence, Doom finally chose to temporarily give up the idea of making trouble for Leegee. Because he is more troublesome now, Dr. Reed and Susan's attitude towards him is far beyond Doom's imagination. Susan actually used her example as a spiritual chicken soup to feed Red to drink, so that he could soothe his soul when he was most hurt. Can you believe this? Doom felt that he was going crazy. Wasn't he a big villain? Wasn't he a big tyrant and a big dictator? When could he be used as a role model in life? Doom's smart brain was now a mess. Seeing Doom in a mess, Leegee instantly felt that he could relax and enter the mode of watching the show. In the end, Doom didn't know how he left Dr. Reed's laboratory. Because Reed and Susan were constantly happy for him and cheering him up. In the end, Doom had forgotten what his original purpose was. It wasn't until he returned to his own castle of destruction wearing this bright and sexy outfit that he suddenly realized, that's not right. That's not what my script says. What happened to Reed? Why did he come back so dejectedly and was fed a belly full of disgusting chicken soup? Exclamation mark. Doom wanted to find Dr. Reed again, but Leegee stopped him. Okay, Dr. Doom. I think you should have let it go now. No matter what hatred or grudges there are, whether the original thing was true or not, it's not so important to you now. Doom asked himself. He really didn't have the anger he had at the beginning. Yes, some things should indeed be let go, but Doom felt that there was suddenly a void in his heart. The Master of Destruction felt a little uncomfortable, so he didn't show Leegee a good face. So, have you seen enough of the show today? Then leave quickly, I want to rest. Doom gave the order to leave without any courtesy. But Leegee had not planned to leave yet, because sending medicine to Doom to restore his appearance was only the first purpose of his visit. There was another purpose he needed to explain to Doom. Actually, I can't leave for the time being. We still need to talk about something. Leegee found a place to sit down. Well, at least Thor-Skar will not go back before he finds a way to get the cosmic cube, otherwise he will be caught and used as a laborer again. Doom asked unhappily, just say it directly, I don't have much time in the United States to waste with you. Leegee ignored Doom's tone, he understood what Doom had experienced today. So he generously opened a bottle of Champagne King for Doom to drink, although it seemed that this place was the castle of destruction and everything here belonged to Doom. But Leegee still acted very generously. Leegee handed the champagne to Doom, regardless of Doom's expression. He gently clinked his crystal glass with Doom and said, cheers. Doom squinted his eyes, and it seemed that he had to re-evaluate the degree of shamelessness of this man. Leegee tasted the top-grade Dame de Champagne, which is said to have only 70 bottles in the world, and each bottle is priced at 300,000 euros. It tastes like money. If you have something to say it quickly. If you have to fart quickly. Doom was almost amused by Leegee. Leegee waved his hand, It's just a small matter. I want to introduce a group of dark elves to take a shot of prevention for possible wars in the future. Li Ji shook the crystal glass in his hand, which was filled with dame de champagne with the aroma of money. He had a smile on his face, but what he said was not funny at all. An attack from another dimension is an opportunity for the Earth Federation to unite. It is also a plan to truly integrate the new Eastern European Alliance and Tuvalu into the Earth Federation and even gain status. Chapter 935 Three-Step Plan. In fact, after Loki found Li Ji and explained to him about a possible invasion of the Dark Elves, Li Ji had been thinking about it. How to solve the Dark Elves and the Chitauri at the same time is what Li Ji wants to do most. Because there is only a thief who steals for 1,000 days, but there is no reason to guard against thieves for 1,000 days. The pusher behind the Chitauri is the Skrulls, not the Thanos in the movie. The Dark Elves' goal is the Cosmic Cube. Both sides want to attack the Earth, and at this time, it is necessary to remind the Earth Federation to prepare its own defense. Tell the politicians directly? Even if you tell them the truth, they may not believe it. Even if Tony and Rogers go to lobby, it probably won't work. So you need to show them an example of what happened in reality, so that they know clearly that the Earth is being targeted and they should prepare early. The plan for the Dark Elves invasion was planned by Li Ji a long time ago. At that time, there was no Illuminati, and Eastern Europe was still in a state of war. Li Ji didn't even have many forces to rely on. At that time, he proposed this plan very crazily. It can be said that Li Ji is very cautious in some aspects, but very crazy in some aspects. His craziness and ideas impressed Tony Stark at that time. This is why the first person Tony Stark wanted to find when he thought of establishing the Illuminati was Li Ji. This batch of Dark Elves had actually been prepared long ago and had been locked up in the prison of Asgard. They were the prisoners captured by Loki when he defeated the Frost Giants and the Dark Elf Alliance in the Elf Kingdom last time. There were about 1,000 of them. This was also a condition that Loki promised to give to Li Ji when Li Ji and Loki signed the agreement. 1,000 ordinary Dark Elf captives, there were no Doomslayers and no elite monsters. Although the combat power of each Dark Elf warrior is about equal to that of a US captain, the combined combat power of 1,000 US captains is indeed a very troublesome combat power for most of the Earth's armies, but it is not indestructible. Because these Dark Elves do not have the two passive skills of Captain Rogers, everyone prioritizes attacking the unbreakable shield, and has a 50-50 chance against any strong enemy. It would take some effort to destroy them. If the entire invasion is designed into a complete plan, a seemingly coincidental arrangement will become a carefully planned trap. This plan will allow the Dark Elves to show their combat effectiveness so that the Earth government cannot underestimate them. But in the end, there must be a victory without any danger, so that everyone feels that this is a coincidental victory. This time we can win, but there may not be a chance of winning in a head-on battle. So I need to preset a battlefield. Li Ji said to Doom while drinking the champagne dame that smelled of banknotes. Dr. Doom, as the Illuminati's reserve boss, I have told you before about the attack by the Dark Elves and the Chitauri. We need to make some preparations. A carefully prepared ambush may be a very good choice. Arrange an ambush with Tuvalu and the new Eastern European Union to lead the entire situation to eliminate a group of Dark Elves. As the first force on Earth to eliminate aliens, I think this will be of great help to Tuvalu and Latveria. We need to let everyone see the reality clearly. We are not as safe in this world as we thought. Li Ji drank the champagne in one gulp. We want everyone to confirm one thing, that is, we have begun to be attacked by aliens. There may be something they want on Earth. But we can't cause panic. We have to let the people believe that we can defeat those terrible aliens. Doom smiled at Li Ji. So what are you going to do? Prepare a TV show that will be broadcast globally. Li Ji said nonchalantly, yes, that's exactly what I'm best at. Some people say this is a kind of deception, I guess. But this kind of deception can help us a lot and save us a lot of detours. We don't have time to go to every place and give a touching speech to everyone. We can't make everyone understand and believe us. In fact, I have done a lot of these very dark things. Deceiving the world? Well, I'm used to it. Li Ji seemed a little nonchalant. But Doom couldn't guarantee whether Li Ji's heart was as relaxed as he appeared. Doom, so your plan is to send a group of Dark Elf prisoners to die, but to make them look very powerful. Li Ji, yes, that's my first step. Doom, first step? Then what's the second step? Li Ji put down the crystal glass. The second step is to divert the trouble. Send away the most coveted things on Earth. We don't have the ability to keep treasures that don't belong to us, referring to the cosmic cube. Give it to someone who can keep it, and let the coveters fight those strong ones. It will take us hundreds of years to gain a foothold. When they are beaten to pulp, they will find that the Earth civilization has risen. This is a very long plan, so don't be too anxious. And there are a lot of small details in this step, including the diplomatic strategies between the Nova Corps and some other cosmic civilization empires. I will forward you a detailed plan. I have written a lot. At that time, all members of the Illuminati will discuss it. And when it comes to the third step. When Li Ji said this, Doom couldn't help interrupting and said, "There is a third step." Yes, there is a third step. I have reached a basic consensus with the king of the Inhumans, Black Boyd. We will welcome back the Inhumans in a high-profile manner and completely eliminate the mutant problem. At the same time, the stage of the Inhumans' return will also be the stage where the Illuminati will exert the most strength. Li Ji's expression was very serious, without any joking. We need the Nova Corps to help us gain a foothold in the universe. But this does not mean that we can only rely on them completely. We need to show our own deterrence. At least before the Skrulls do not launch a full-scale war, we must be able to rely on our own strength to defeat their vanguard. Including the Chitauri vanguard, let the Nova Corps and other cosmic civilizations see that even when facing the galactic pirates Chitauri, the Earth civilization is not powerless to fight back. We must make our own roars and declare in this quiet and dark cosmic jungle that we are not those that can be needed by anyone. Li Ji looked at Doom and said, "And this, I call it the Galaxy of Shock." Chapter 936 I am me. For Li Ji, the most important thing is to completely solve the Chitauri and send away the treasure cosmic cube, which is of no use to the Earth at present. Especially the cosmic cube. This thing has a great origin and is very awesome. It is one of the 6 infinite gems, the space gem. If I remember correctly, the 6 infinite gems are the products of the beginning of the universe when the universe was in chaos. It is so powerful. But the use of any treasure is conditional. When this treasure brings you more benefits than disadvantages, it is a treasure. If it turns around and has more disadvantages, it is just a root of trouble. Li Ji is different from many other people. He has never thought of relying on one person to fight against the sky, the earth, and the air. He has never thought of dominating the universe and becoming the strongest man in the universe. He is a very greedy but not so greedy person. Li Ji's greed lies in his pursuit and persistence of his own ideals. When an idea begins to germinate and grows bigger and bigger, Li Ji never stops chasing because of difficulties. Doom said that Li Ji and he are actually on the same side. This is not wrong. Because they are both realists who pursue their ideals. And there is a very similar trait between the two. That is, they both care more about whether they can bring satisfaction when pursuing their goals. So Doom often does all kinds of unexpected things. Sometimes he does things without a reason, just to make himself happy. This is a way for Doom to satisfy himself. And Li Ji is the same. He is very unscrupulous when doing many things, but he sticks to the bottom line. What he wants is always to achieve the final goal. So he dares to think and act, and can use all kinds of unrestrained methods to solve various problems. For him, pushing the world forward and leaving his mark deeply in this world, this is Li Ji's greatest sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. And Li Ji's non-greed is the pursuit of personal material. He does not require a high level of material pursuit. He knows what he deserves and what he should let go, such as the cosmic cube. Of course, Li Ji is not without desire. In fact, Li Ji feels that he is already great from the perspective of personal life. He is a senior personal consultant to the president of the Osborn Group, and he has also established a Marvel Entertainment company. And this company is now in a crazy growth period. Because of the great success of the Iron Man movie, the sequel of Iron Man has already started filming. And another superhero movie, Spider-Man, is also in preparation. The plan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is on the agenda. This is a huge plan that includes at least 25 superhero movies. The Disney Group likes to cooperate with successful people, and Li Ji's Marvel Entertainment has proved itself to be a successful one. Disney can be said to be eager for the next cooperation. Because they can't really shoot the sequel of the Pirates of the Caribbean series to the 15th. They are also looking for a continuous growth point in the next decade. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has shown this potential. Li Ji calls himself a chef and has never been involved in the entertainment industry. But now he is just 20 years old, and his personal assets alone are already hundreds of millions of dollars. And you can hear rumors about him in Hollywood. If Lee Ji wants, he can immediately become a celebrity in Hollywood. Because there are many stars who are willing to cooperate with Marvel Pictures under Marvel Entertainment. Iron Man 2 and Spider-Man 1 are both blockbusters with investments of more than $150 million US. Is Lee Ji short of money? He has no shortage of money. He is actually one of the wealthy people. He has truly achieved financial freedom. As long as he doesn't throw his money into the empty luxury collection market, Lee Ji has enough money to spend and lives a carefree life. Of course, your pursuit of wealth is different from that of Tony Stark or Harry Osborn. But everyone's pursuit is different, just like Lee Ji will not waste his time and energy on pursuing wealth. He thinks that is boring, because the sense of accomplishment that money can bring him now is very low, very low. When the money you earn is enough to meet all your expenses and there is a huge surplus, money is already a numbers game. It can be said that from Lee Ji's personal perspective, Marvel Entertainment is already at a very good level. He is still developing Marvel because this company is not only his own, but many heroes also rely on hero copyrights to support their lives. And this is what makes him feel interesting and satisfied. Lee Ji thinks he is very good at spending money. Anyway, his food, clothing, housing, transportation and other things are all very good. At least he thinks it is very good. Even if the family wants to raise an Alaskan and a Samoyed, and an Alaskan female companion, the monthly expenses will be at most $100,000. Lee Ji is not keen on showing off wealth, because many things used to show off wealth seem particularly stupid to him. For example, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a limited edition bag. Lee Ji cannot understand the meaning of this kind of consumption. Maybe some people need to use this way and this kind of wealth to show off and prove their existence. But Lee Ji doesn't think he needs this. Because he deeply understands one thing. That is, if there is no me in this world, then everything you see now will not exist. There will be no super high-speed railways, no Earth Federation, and no Venus base. Mutants will still fight for their own rights and interests, and maybe Magneto has successfully launched a revolutionary coup. Hydra will still be alive and well, hiding in the dark and making trouble. The Inhumans can continue to hide in the rings of Saturn and live their own lives, watching the increasingly intensified contradictions of the Earthlings with a smile. The attack of the Chitauri will have to rely on the superheroes to risk their lives, or even by coincidence, to be defeated. There are all kinds of things, too many to list one by one. Lee Ji understands that the world has changed profoundly because of himself. I came to this world, and I changed this world. The reason why I exist is because I am unique. With all this, Lee Ji no longer needs to use wealth or any external things to package himself. Because Lee Ji can now proudly say that not because of poverty or wealth, not because of nobility or humbleness, I am me. Of course, all this is also due to the help of many people, such as Strange and Thor, who are now preparing to go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the Cosmic Cube. Their success or failure is also the key to Lee Ji's next plan. P.S. I am not in a good state today. I went to the renovated house to clean the whole morning. I was so tired that I didn't even have the energy to type. I fell asleep when I came back. Now my brain is groggy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 937, Creating a Small Wormhole. Lee Ji was waiting for Thor and Strange to take out the Cosmic Cube. Thor was making plans with Strange. Strange was willing to cooperate with Thor for the legendary Fountain of Wisdom. Thor, I guarantee that the Fountain of Wisdom exists, and I did not deceive Strange. But I cannot guarantee that there is still the Fountain of Wisdom in Odin's treasure house. But I made a vow. If I cannot help Strange get the Fountain of Wisdom, then I cannot inherit the throne. I think I may need to fulfill my vow. Of course, Strange did not know Thor's inner thoughts. He did not know that Thor had already begun to plan his life after he did not inherit the throne. In fact, in Thor's opinion, entrusting Asgard to Loki was a good choice. Let Thor handle various government affairs every day like Odin, and then deal with diplomatic affairs with other kingdoms of God? Spare him, he would rather take care of children in the welfare home. So what do you want me to do? Strange temporarily reached a cooperation with Thor for the Fountain of Wisdom. In order to get the Fountain of Wisdom as soon as possible, He wanted to complete the task quickly. However, he still needed to have a certain understanding of the whole thing and make a decision after assessing the risks. Just like he did surgery before. Well, I said. We go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get something, and leave without stopping after getting it. Thor touched his stubble and said calmly. Go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get it. Strange emphasized the word get. Actually, we are going to steal it. Don't say it so harshly. Thor was not embarrassed by being exposed. He tried his best to recall what attitude Lee Ji would use to persuade others every time he fooled others. In short, you can't be timid when you are exposed, and you must act as if everything is as it should be. You see, we are just taking some things that should not be kept by S.H.I.E.L.D., or even by the Earth. These things are harmful to the Earth. Thor felt that he had found some tricks. Maybe he really drank a drop of the fountain of wisdom when he was a child? Maybe Odin secretly gave it to him when he was asleep? Strange said indifferently, so our behavior is still stealing. No, it's not stealing. We are helping the Earth get rid of some unnecessary troubles. In fact, we are doing what heroes should do. Thor felt that he was getting more and more familiar with the essence. So your definition of heroic behavior includes stealing? Strange continued to look indifferent. I said it's not stealing, not at all. We just took out a cosmic cube and sent it to where it should be. Thor tried his best to explain. Why hasn't he convinced Strange yet? So S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't know about this, right? We still go steal. Strange was still indifferent. Stealing is against my professional ethics. Thor felt that he was a little crazy. He had tried his best to imitate Lee Ji. But why didn't he go with me? Thor felt that he was trying hard. I said this is not stealing. Strange said coldly, it is stealing. Thor. Well, do you still want the Fountain of Wisdom? Thor felt that Lee Ji's method was not suitable for him, so he decided to be simple and direct. Strange said without hesitation, I want it. Thor nodded, that's enough. Don't talk so much nonsense, just follow me quickly. You don't care whether I take it, steal it, or rob it. If you want the Fountain of Wisdom, just cooperate with me. Do whatever I want you to do, don't talk so much nonsense. Are you the boss or am I the boss? Should I listen to you or me? With thousands of humiliations in his heart, Strange roared in his heart, if I couldn't beat you, I would have killed you long ago. Thor, wait, our hatred is not over. After this matter is over, I must study magic hard and become the supreme sorcerer. Not for anything else, just to kill you in the future, you wait. Strange gritted his teeth and said, I'll listen to you. Thor waved his hand, just listen to me, why are you talking so much nonsense? Here are the coordinates of the address, you open the space door. Then we go in and get something and come out. It's that simple. Well, you have to bow your head when you need help. Strange is a compromise for the Fountain of Wisdom. But his dormancy is for the future takeoff. Strange can still bear this humiliation. Of course, as for the problem that Thor could not get the Fountain of Wisdom and the relationship between the two became more and more tense, Thor did not think so much. Because if it really doesn't work, find Lee Ji, he will always find a way to solve it. Lee Ji, who was drinking with Doom, sneezed, Doom, can't you turn up the heating in your castle? I almost caught a cold. In fact, as Thor said, it's not difficult to go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get a cosmic cube. Because they have Captain Rogers as an insider. Although Captain Rogers is now the director of SWORD, he still has a great influence inside SHIELD. He knows the specific storage location of the cosmic cube, how to break all security facilities, the patrol time and blind spots of each post, and everything he should know. He even prepared something to take the blame when stealing the cosmic cube. Because SHIELD will definitely be held accountable for the theft of the cosmic cube. But Captain Rogers doesn't want to see Hill or other colleagues held accountable. So he asked Lee Ji before, does Nightwalker have any good advice for me? Nightwalker took out something from his space belt and handed it to Captain Rogers. This thing is called a space grenade. It is a conventional weapon of the Dark Elves. It can create a micro wormhole. It is a souvenir I brought back from Asgard last time, and now I give it to you. So this souvenir was handed over to Thor, and now it is in Strange's hands. They entered SHIELD, stole the cosmic cube, and by the way, they had to detonate a space grenade. Space weapons have never appeared on Earth, which can divert attention. And the space grenade is a foreshadowing for the subsequent Dark Elf invasion plan. And this foreshadowing will ferment in the future. Captain Rogers, Tony Stark and Dr. Banner need to play a three-way game. Connect the theft of the cosmic cube with this space grenade. And make a prelude to the invasion of the Dark Elves. Then there will be a small-scale invasion of Dark Elves, 100 people, and then a large-scale invasion, another 900. And now Thor and Strange, thanks to Captain Rogers, can be regarded as arriving at the storage place of the cosmic cube without any danger. I feel like I played a real-life secret infiltration. Thor recalled the destruction of the security device just now and the situation of avoiding the detection of nearby security personnel. But compared to secret infiltration, I still like to play Dynasty Warriors, a bold mowing battle. It suits me very well. Strange glanced at Thor and agreed in his heart, yes, brainless, it suits you very well. People with high IQs have gone to the fire transmission, and you may not even be able to pass the first level of the monastery. Of course, he didn't say this out loud, which was probably another biological chain contempt of the fire transmission players for the mowing players. Because of the influence of the cosmic cube, Strange couldn't directly open the space gate to the vicinity of the cosmic cube. Otherwise, it would be terrible if the space collapsed. Maybe the whole New York would be sucked away by the cosmic cube. Now that he has arrived at his goal, Strange just wants to complete the task quickly. Let Thor take the cosmic cube and escape quietly, and he will stay here to detonate a space grenade. Space wormhole weapons. It will definitely leave traces. Strange is very curious about where Thor got this thing from. He vaguely feels that this matter may not be that simple. Maybe Thor is really not here to steal things. It was not until Thor left with the cosmic cube for a long time and sent a signal to Strange through the communicator to take action. Strange prepared the space gate, then took out the safety spring of the space grenade and threw it out. The moment Strange left, a black micro-wormhole appeared silently in the secret vault of S.H.I.E.L.D. Chapter 938 Blood of God. The cosmic cube was in hand. With the help of Captain Rogers, there were not too many accidents. It can be said that everything was planned. The only small flaw was that when Strange used the space grenade to leave a trace for S.H.I.E.L.D., something went wrong. I don't know if it was because the vault was used to store the cosmic cube before, and there was residual energy in the space attribute. The energy released by the Dark Elf space grenade was a bit too large. It almost sucked away the entire underground vault. Several S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were injured, but fortunately no one died or was sucked away. The space anomaly that broke out in this vault was soon discovered by S.H.I.E.L.D., and even the military. Because this level of energy explosion is difficult not to be detected. So the members of the Security Council quickly got the news that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s cosmic cube disappeared. And a space anomaly fluctuation broke out. Agent Hill has been summoned to Washington for questioning. Because the theft of the cosmic cube is more or less a big deal. Director Hill, what do you want to say about the theft of the cosmic cube? The current chairman of the Security Council asked Hill with a bad face. Too many things have happened in the past 2 years. The members of the Security Council have a feeling that their power is slipping away. It's a very strange feeling, but it can be felt. It's hard to say what happened, but the loss of power is real. First of all, vampires are now history. The original department that coordinated the vampire issue is also an organization under the Security Council, but it has now been disbanded by Congress. The vampire issue has changed from dealing with vampires, taking precautions, and collecting secret funds from the vampire empire to a very simple civil affairs department. The only thing that can be done is to occasionally visit former vampires who have transformed from vampires to ordinary people. All the previous law enforcement and armed rights have been taken back by Congress, and the Security Council cannot prevent this from happening. Then the mutant issue has also changed its form. When the mutant issue in the United States was radical, there were many organizations and institutions under the Security Council that dealt with a mutant issue, including cooperation with the military, etc. Those are institutions that control real power. Now, the mutant problem has begun to change. The first batch of new drugs have been put into the United States, and a large number of excellent-level mutants will begin to be injected. The cost is paid by radical anti-mutant organizations. Mutants who are unwilling to accept the transformation can go to Tuvalu. From a certain perspective, it is now more important to guide the mutant problem than to confront it. So the authority of the Security Council has been weakened again. S.H.I.E.L.D. was originally the biggest card in the hands of the Security Council and the most powerful organization. But it was always controlled by Nick Fury before. It is difficult for the Security Council to completely control S.H.I.E.L.D. It took a lot of effort to get rid of Nick and let Hill come to power in order to maintain stability. Originally, The Security Council wanted to slowly add sand to corrode the authority of S.H.I.E.L.D. But then the Battle of New York broke out, the Earth Federation was established, and Captain Rogers jumped out of S.H.I.E.L.D. to establish SWORD. Many of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s powers began to be weakened by SWORD. The most important thing is that Captain Rogers has a very high prestige in S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. often cooperates with SWORD. This further weakens the power of the Security Council, and this cannot be blamed. Because the establishment of SWORD is for the sake of justice. Even the SHIELD on the other side of the Pacific Ocean cooperates with Captain Rogers' various plans. S.H.I.E.L.D. naturally has no reason not to support Captain Rogers. The Security Council suddenly realized that their power has been invisibly weakened to an unacceptable degree. Things are changing so fast that these old politicians have not had time to react before they have already happened. So the theft of the Cosmic Cube made the bigwigs of the Security Council feel uneasy. In the past, they could fabricate S.H.I.E.L.D. at will, because they had more than just S.H.I.E.L.D. But now it is different. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the only authority in their hands. If it causes a backlash, who will be embarrassed at that time? It is possible that the White House will directly take back the direct jurisdiction over S.H.I.E.L.D. and completely dissolve the Security Council. The president may not have been able to do it before, but the next presidential election has already begun. Captain Rogers is likely to run for election. Although if Captain Rogers becomes the President of the United States, SWORD will have to change its leader, and it will be difficult to find someone like Captain Rogers to lead the overall situation. But now the framework of SWORD has been set up, unlike the beginning when Captain Rogers was the only one. Captain Rogers' prestige is too high, and he will not encounter any resistance from within SHIELD if he directly takes back the authority of SHIELD. Maybe SHIELD is eager to get rid of the Security Council immediately. So although the big guys of the Security Council are questioning Hill, they still hope deep down that big things will be small, and small things will be nothing. They should handle this matter internally and not make it too big. This will not do them any good. In the final analysis, politicians have different considerations. Politicians first consider their own gains and losses, and then the country. Politicians are just the opposite. As the current leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hill is very aware of the current political changes. So she is not afraid of these bigwigs, although it is her responsibility to lose the Cosmic Cube. But there is something weird in the whole thing, especially the space explosion. So Hill thought about it and said, I don't think the Cosmic Cube was stolen. There are traces of space riots left at the scene. This energy fluctuation is very similar to the energy of the Cosmic Cube itself, but there are slight differences. I have asked Tony Stark and Dr. Bruce Banner to go to the scene to take samples for investigation. Although there is no final result yet, both of them tend to believe that abnormal space flickers occurred at that time. And the disappearance of the Cosmic Cube is closely related to this space flicker. Hill did not know the plan of the Illuminati, and he would not guess that from Captain Rogers to Tony to Bros, they were all bigwigs in the Illuminati. No matter what they do, they will definitely greet each other. So Hill did not doubt the research of Tony and Dr. Banner, but there was a little surprise that Captain Rogers and other Illuminati bigwigs did not expect. That is, this space explosion also left some things that did not belong to the Earth. Some strange liquids, we don't know if they can be called liquids or something similar. They have extremely strong activity, far exceeding the organisms we know. Hill frowned and said. And now Tony and Dr. Banner are studying it. I think maybe the theft of the Cosmic Cube is related to this matter. Hill said his own judgment. Liji, who had been drinking with Doom in Latveria, also received the news. Thor successfully brought out the Cosmic Cube, but an accident occurred at the scene. The explosion of the space grenade actually left a pool of liquid at the scene. And this pool of liquid was called Blood of the Gods by Thor. Chapter 939, Just a Small Thing. Blood of the Gods? What is that? Liji knew that Thor had taken the Cosmic Cube out of S.H.I.E.L.D. before returning to New York from Latveria, and he had just returned when he learned that something unexpected had happened. And the Blood of the Gods was something Thor had proposed, so naturally he had to ask Thor about it clearly, and it would be best if there were no loopholes. Because this plan would be too troublesome if there were any loopholes. Sam's side had been resolved, and Tony Stark had promised Sam. When Sam went to Nova Corps for training, Tony would help Sam's mother and sister. Although Sam's mother, Ms. Eva, was unwilling to go to New York to work, Tony expressed his willingness to provide Ms. Eva with a good job so that she could better raise her daughter. Because Eva had already gotten used to the town of Carefree and could not adapt to the pace of life in the big city of New York. But this did not dispel Tony's good intentions. Tony Stark said that the Stark Group would build a production plant 20 kilometers away from the town of Carefree, specializing in assembling some components of the suspension car. And at least 400 jobs would be publicly recruited in the town of Carefree. Ms. Eva has already been appointed a position. Although the factory is not big, the investment is only a little over $100 million. But Tony's move is obvious, that is to adapt to Eva's living habits. Since you don't want to work in New York, then work directly at home. It takes less than half an hour to drive 20 kilometers, and the commute to work is not too far. In this way, I put a good job in front of you, and you have no reason to refuse. It can be said that Tony's behavior fully demonstrates the style of a local tyrant, and at the same time dispels the last doubts in Sam's heart. He can go on the road with peace of mind. I mean, he can embark on the journey back to Nova Corps with Star-Lord with peace of mind and start his own journey as a galactic hero. Now Sam is ready to go out. Leiji doesn't want any problems to happen with the Cosmic Cube. If there's a problem with the Cosmic Cube, it will be very troublesome. So he asked Thor with some concern, "What is the blood of the gods you are talking about?" "The blood of the gods, as the name suggests." "The blood of the gods?" Thor said as a matter of course. Leiji was not satisfied with Thor's answer, so he drew out the thunder blade and pointed it at Thor's arm. "So if I cut you and make you bleed, that counts." Leiji looked eager to try, and Thor unconsciously moved a little further away from the blade. Thor pointed at the blade of the thunder blade and said, "Be careful, the elf mage added sharpness magic to it, and the blade is very sharp." Leiji raised his eyebrows. Thor surrendered and said, "Well, actually the blood of the gods is a bit vague. I've heard my father Odin tell me some stories about the gods when I was little." Leiji was a little curious. "Aren't you considered gods? You should be one of the gods." "Actually, we are new gods." Thor shook his head. "What we call gods refer to the ancient gods, the gods of our previous era of gods." "Why is there the legend of Ragnarok?" "Because the previous generation of ancient gods once perished. Some people say that Ragnarok is a reincarnation. The gods of the previous generation fell, and the seeds they left behind are the seeds of the next generation of gods and humans, including other intelligent creatures." Odin said that we all grew up from the blood of the previous generation of gods. But there are many untenable parts of this story. Thor didn't really believe this story. In fact, Odin himself doesn't really believe this story. He used this story more as a bedtime story to coax Loki and me to sleep. The only thing that can verify that this story has a basis is that the gods stopped bleeding. Thor said after thinking for a while. Legend has it that this is the only thing left by the ancient gods that can prove their existence. But is it the blood of gods? It's hard to say, but this kind of blood does contain very powerful power. Sometimes they appear in certain places in the universe. Unpredictable and hard to find. Sometimes they appear out of thin air, and sometimes they disappear directly. No one can figure out their patterns, and no one knows what their appearance means. Some say it is a warning of disaster, but it has never been accompanied by disaster. So I don't think there's any need to make a fuss about this matter. Thor said in a tone that he didn't need to care about these details. The only thing that is a bit suspicious is whether the blood of the ancient gods appeared directly on the earth, or because of the space grenades. If it is the latter, then these things may be related to the Dark Elves. We have never known which space the Dark Elf space grenades are connected to. Thor touched his stubble. Space will never increase or decrease for no reason. Because each piece of space corresponds to a period of time. The increase or decrease of a space means that time also increases and decreases accordingly. So we in Asgard have always believed that the Dark Elf space grenades are connected to a certain space, a place we don't know. The Dark Elves can't really make something disappear out of thin air, and it is even more impossible for specific things to be annihilated in space. If they master this technology, then no one can stop them. Because they can increase or deprive lifetime at will. Even Odin may not be able to resist this ability. Thor expressed his thoughts. "So, whether the blood of the gods appears on Earth or in the unknown space of the Dark Elves, there is actually no need to panic. You can ask Tony and others to study this so-called blood of the ancient gods and see what the differences are. If you can study something, you may make a fortune." Thor did not seem to be worried about this little accident at all. To him, it seemed like a small matter like suddenly having to pee when going to the toilet. Thor's solemn statement also made the Illuminati feel a little relieved. As long as it is not a mysterious creature that came to Earth through the alien space and hid. As for the blood of the ancient gods? Well, let's study it. Thor and Asgard and other kingdoms of God have not figured out the cosmic supernatural events for so many years, and the Illuminati does not think that they can easily crack the secrets. Let's write this down first and study it slowly in the future. Because the Illuminati has now obtained the cosmic cube, it is time for Star-Lord to go back. There is also Sam following Star-Lord. When Sam came to New York City this time, he never expected what kind of treatment he would enjoy. Chapter 940 Goodbye Friends. Sam is ready to go to an unknown star region to start his adventure. Maybe he can become a big man, maybe not. But no matter what, a 15-year-old boy always hopes to do something big. Like any boy of this age, he always feels that he will awaken some special abilities one day. For example, there is a huge mecha hidden deep in the sea waiting for your call. When your blood awakens, it will break out of the ground and shout to you, 6 gods combined. Or the brave is invincible. Or one day when you are basking in the sun, you suddenly find that your body can turn into light, and then pick up a transformation device that falls from the sky, and then you can become a 50-meter tall giant. Or you save a dying doctor on the roadside, and he gives you a belt and a motorcycle. Then you can ride a motorcycle to play dress-up games, and call yourself a dress-up knight from now on. Or, in short, it's all of this, everything that fits the fantasy of boys of this age. At this age, everyone always wants to hope that they have an extraordinary life experience and an unknown mission. Whether it is to protect the Earth or destroy the Earth, it is cool anyway. When a teenager of this age was eating with his father at the table, his father told him, I helped you pick up the express delivery, which would also be regarded as, I helped you get a piece of land. Then he would start a 1-hour operation in his mind, until his father took out the Ito Express and put it in front of him, and then said with a straight face, spending money on buying figures again? Dad gave you money to let you Huangang's secret scroll. Only then will the young man break his fantasy and return to reality. Then he obediently went to buy Huangang's secret scroll and 3 years of college entrance examination and 5 years of simulation. Sometimes when looking at the new concept composition, he might also imagine that this is actually a profound martial arts secret book. Various martial arts moves are hidden in the gaps between the pages of the book, but he just didn't find it. It was not until the whole book was dismantled and his mother chased him with a broom that he suddenly realized, by the way, dents should be soaked in water to show the text. This kind of unrealistic fantasy and self-righteousness, as well as the sense of responsibility for shouldering a major historical mission and the rise and fall of mankind, inexplicably weighed on the hearts of young people of this age. They always fantasize about what they should do, and of course, this does not include learning. Sam is such a young man, yes, a young man with a strong personality, or a young man for short. He has been restless and has all kinds of unrealistic fantasies. However, when all the unrealistic fantasies began to slowly come true, Sam suddenly had a strange sense of alienation. Is all this true? After I put on the helmet and became a rising star, I felt that everything had changed. I went to New York and met 2 bosses. Later, I also mixed with famous superheroes for a while, mainly to help run errands. And now the alien army has finally found me, and they hope that I can go back and inherit my father's mantle and become a new hero of the galaxy. Captain Rogers and Iron Man Tony Stark both came to my house to help, hoping that I could take action. Suddenly, I, Sam, have become a big shot. I'm afraid that even the most unsuccessful authors would not dare to write novels with such plots. Most Jacksu novels written in this way will become dead flops. Book friends who can read Jacksu will scold that it is too exaggerated and too cliché. But all this really happened. I will become a big shot. I will definitely become a big shot. Sam thought so in his heart. Until he returned to New York again, his little brain, which was not very smart to begin with, could finally return to normal state and function. This is the last stop on Earth. It is said that Tony Stark will send himself into space from here? By spaceship or other means? In fact, he must be able to fly directly. Sam secretly tried the Nova Corps suit, which allowed him to break through the atmosphere and fly in the universe. However, because Sam did not know the upper limit of this helmet and suit, he did not dare to fly too far. Otherwise, he really wanted to fly to the moon to see what the crater looked like. We will bring you some special products from Earth. Tony Stark, who is not wearing an iron armor, tried to be amiable and said to Sam, including some toys, food, clothes, etc., so that you can adapt to life on an alien planet. Sam smiled and said, "Thank you." He thought that the special products Tony Stark mentioned were really just some. If he knew that the number of those special products could fill the small room he used to live in, I wonder what kind of expression Sam would make. Those were all kinds of special gifts carefully selected by Lee G, Mindy and Laura. They were prepared to help Sam get along well with his classmates and to let the new generation of the Nova Corps feel the breadth and depth of Earth culture. At the same time, there were also various small gifts prepared for Star-Lord to bring back to Nova Corps and make the current high-level Nova Corps feel happy, including all kinds of delicacies that Star-Lord thought everyone would like to eat. For this reason, Star-Lord took the trouble to try more than 3,000 different foods, including various snacks and desserts, during his time on Earth, and carefully selected 100 of them. There are also various movies, TV series, various games, music, novels, paintings and other entertainment products. These are all preparations for Lee G's plan to corrupt the Nova Corps. On the other hand, the Cosmic Cube has been packed. Thor is preparing how to persuade Star-Lord and others to send this thing to the Nova Corps without being offensive. Of course, these things have nothing to do with Sam. He is waiting for the final moment in the room Tony prepared for him. As the departure time approaches, he becomes more and more restless. He walks around the room, and finally can't bear it and says to Tony, "Can I go out for a while, Mr. Tony?" Tony Stark turns around and asks, "What for?" "See my friends, I'm leaving and I don't know when I'll be back, I want to say goodbye to them." Sam is still thinking about Mindy and Laura. "I'm leaving, I hope these two girls won't quarrel over me." The young man's heart is surging. Tony shook his head, looking unwilling to agree to Sam's request. When Sam was about to say something, Tony opened his mouth and said, "I think you don't need to go out to see them, because they are already here." Sam looked at Tony with doubt, and Tony gestured to the door with his eyes. The security door happened to open at this time. Nightwalker appeared in the room with Mindy and Laura. Mindy, who had always been high and mighty and casually pointed fingers at Sam, suddenly had red eyes when she saw Sam, and then ran towards Sam quickly, and finally hugged Sam tightly. And Laura followed closely beside Mindy. Her eyes were also red. Both girls seemed to be crying. "Are they crying for me?" Sam suddenly felt a little touched. At this moment, he felt that he should stay for the two girls who loved him. Even if it meant giving up the opportunity to join the Nova Corps, he would not hesitate. No wonder his father gave up his status as a supernova for his mother. It is true that heroes are hard to resist the beauty. Sam sighed in his heart. He really couldn't resist the tears of Mindy and Laura. When the young man was excited and ready to say something, Mindy, who was holding Sam, spoke first. "Be careful when you marry to an alien planet in the future. Don't do stupid things or say stupid things. Don't let others sell you out without knowing it. Remember, Laura and I have chosen a lot of gifts for you. If in the future, you can't come back to Earth in the future." As she spoke, Mindy started to cry a little. "If you can't come back to Earth in the future, just look at those gifts." At the end, Mindy couldn't stand it anymore, turned around and hugged Laura, and the two girls hugged each other and cried. Sam was confused. What happened? What happened? Who is going to get married, and marry to an alien planet? What happened? He looked at Tony, and Tony shook his head to show that he didn't know what happened. He then looked at the fair and selfless Nightwalker. The Nightwalker on the opposite side whistled softly, as if he didn't know what happened. But why does his whistle sound so familiar, as if he is humming softly, "Goodbye, oh friend at home, goodbye, goodbye, friend." Chapter 941 Two Little Actor Bones. Sam didn't know what happened. The two girls cried so sadly. It was as if they were going to be executed. He wanted to ask Nightcrawler what happened. But Nightcrawler was humming a little song, and when the two girls were not paying attention, he secretly put his index finger on his lips. This meant that Sam should not speak. In the end, although Sam had some doubts, he still didn't ask. He temporarily hid the doubts in his heart. He believed that Nightcrawler would not cheat him. He was a great superhero. Maybe, Mindy and Laura both cried very sadly. Although Sam was just their errand boy, the 14-year-old girls were more or less sensitive. Although the two never showed mercy when killing people, their hearts would melt when they watched those cute pet videos on YouTube. For example, watching a little kitten licking its paws, or a silly and cute dachshund playing in the ring. They would watch it very happily, and sit in a row with their pretty little faces in their hands and exclaim together. Finally, give a thumbs up. If the little girl keeps a hamster for half a year, she will have feelings for it. If she gives the hamster away, she will be very sad. What's more, Sam is such an obedient errand boy. Thinking that she can no longer order Sam to go to Hong Kong to buy dim sum for midnight snacks when she is hungry at night. She can no longer ask Sam to fly to Arabia when she wants to eat Middle Eastern sweet dates. She can no longer ask Sam to fly to Canada when she wants to eat Quebec cheese pudding. She can no longer eat. Thinking of all kinds of things, Mindy couldn't help but feel sad. She cried very sadly. Laura and Mindy were in the same situation. They could no longer order Sam around. He was going to marry far away. There would be no such obedient and easy-to-use little brother in the future. Laura was filled with sadness. The two girls cried like tears. Sam didn't know what they were crying for. Oh, right. Sam thought, they must be reluctant to part with him. Nightcrawler must have told them that he was going to an alien planet, but he didn't tell them about the Nova Corps. Instead, he used some other explanation, which made them so sad. Sam wanted to explain his situation, but then he thought that maybe Nightcrawler did this for a reason. Yes, maybe he was creating a chance for himself to be different. When he becomes a superhero in the galaxy and returns with countless glory, he will be able to be proud in front of the two girls. Yes, that's right, it must be like this. Only such a contrast can cause a shock to the soul. Sam had already figured out why Nightcrawler did this. The two girls cried very sadly, and they hugged Sam for a while. This made Sam blush like a cooked lobster. After all, this is a boy who has never been in a relationship at the age of 15, and has never held a girl's hand since the elementary school field trip required everyone to hold hands. The deep embrace of two 14-year-old girls was a little too stimulating for him. Seeing his flushed face, Lee Ji couldn't help rolling his eyes, while Tony Stark on the side had an expression of watching a good show. He also secretly winked at Lee Ji and pointed at the two girls and Sam, which had a deep meaning. The two girls talked to Sam for a long time, and said a lot of words of comfort and reminders to him to pay attention to safety and health. The number of these gentle words today was more than the total number of other times they had known each other for so long. Sam was a little intoxicated, he really felt a little floating. He really became a big man. Not only were those superheroes willing to be on an equal footing with him, but he also had two confidants. Sam had made up his mind that he must make a name for himself in the Nova Corps. Only in this way could he live up to the care of his two confidants. Mindy and Laura chattered to Sam for almost 20 minutes before Lee Ji came over and said to the two girls, "Girls, can you give Sam and me some time? I want to talk to him alone." Sam reluctantly left the two girls and was taken to another separate room by Lee Ji. He was a little curious about what the Nightwalker would say to him. The Nightwalker looked at Sam and smiled, and said in a light tone, "Are you happy, Sam?" Sam didn't react. Lee Ji pointed outside the room, "Are you happy with Mindy and Laura's reactions? Are you excited and happy?" Sam blushed and didn't know how to answer. Should he answer Nightwalker directly, "Very good, great, I like this feeling, it's so cool"? Well, it doesn't sound like a superhero to say that. It feels like only a middle school boy would talk like that. Lee Ji patted Sam on the shoulder and said earnestly, "They want to see you, so I brought them here. And I only have 2 words to say to you." Listening to Lee Ji's serious words, Sam couldn't help but nodded solemnly and said, "Please speak." Lee Ji said in a tone with a strong sense of mission, "The first sentence, no matter how big the universe is, don't lose the direction of home." Sam nodded vigorously, he knew what Lee Ji meant. There is another sentence, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, don't bully the young and poor. After saying this, Lee Ji patted Sam on the shoulder and left the room. Only Sam was left in the room to savor the words carefully. Sam savored the meaning of these words carefully. This is to inspire me. Life always has ups and downs. I am not good now, but it does not mean that I will not be good in the future. This time I go to the Nova Corps, I must make a name for myself. Sam has planned to keep these 2 sentences in mind as a motto. Sam clenched his fists tightly, and he kept remembering what Lee Ji said and the tears of the 2 girls until he left the earth. That was the inner strength that inspired him to stand up after falling to the ground countless times. When Lee Ji took Mindy and Laura away from where Sam was, he looked at the two girls with red eyes. He couldn't help but said, "It's almost done. I just put some eye drops. I didn't use tear gas on you. Sam is going to inherit his father's legacy. I just want you to cooperate with me in acting, to give this silly boy some motivation. Don't be silly and don't know how to make progress when you go out." Mindy kicked Lee Ji. "I'm really sad, okay? No one will buy us supper in the future." Laura also nodded vigorously, and then reminded Lee Ji, maybe she was crying too much just now, so now she said with a tearful voice, "By the way, our performance fee should be paid. It was agreed before that we can get 3-year VIP passes for Disneyland and unlimited vouchers for Disneytown restaurants." Lee Ji patted his forehead. "Who said I can act? Who said that? Compared with these two little actors, I am weak." Chapter 942, A Farewell Gift. On this side, Lee Ji has done the ideological work on Sam. On the other side, Thor has not yet solved the problem of giving the cosmic cube to the galactic core. Because this thing must not be secretly put into their cabin. If they are allowed to sneak it in, who knows if Star-Lord will be used to pay off his debts when he loses money in the interstellar casino. If they have not discovered the existence of this cosmic cube at that time, it will be a lot of fun. In addition, this is a gift to Nova Corps. If Star-Lord and his men do not send it, it will be meaningless. Although cultural invasion of the Nova Corps is one way, this method still needs another insurance. That is to use the cosmic cube as a token of surrender, which is a bit like the sort of Gujian, the king of Yu, entering Chu. It is a gift to show a gesture. However, it is not easy to convince Star-Lord and others to accept such a gift. When Thor was about to come to the door with the cosmic cube, Star-Lord had already returned to the Defender starport of Pluto. He was enjoying a warm water spa with his teammates. Gamora floated in the huge warm water pool wearing the swimsuit prepared for her, and said lazily, I really don't want to leave here. The fully automatic warm water spa pool has automatic heating and intelligent water flow adjustment function. Floating in this pool, you can clearly feel the impact of hot water of suitable temperature on various parts of your body. This gentle warm water massage has another kind of comfort compared to the massage by hand of the massage technician. In addition, the various specially blended essential oils added to the pool can relax the body very well. Gamora especially likes this large spa pool that is like a swimming pool. It is so comfortable to swim in it. It feels like the whole body is being massaged by warm water at 360 degrees without dead ends. I really don't want to leave. I don't want to leave at all. Gamora said reluctantly, we may never enjoy these things again after leaving here. There is no food that is so delicious that I don't know how to choose, and there are no various movies to watch every day. Gamora's sigh also resonated with other team members. Rocket Raccoon soaked in the water, and the warm water made all his hair wet and stick to his body. Rocket Raccoon felt that his hair was very soft and clean now. He also said lazily, yeah, I really don't want to go back to our cold ship. Can you believe it? We actually come from a civilization that is said to be more advanced than the Earth. But we actually sleep on iron mattresses on the spaceship. It's just an ordinary soft cushion. That's all. And the sleeping pad provided by the Earthlings for us is actually with memory material. Rocket Raccoon couldn't help but praise. It can fit my body shape perfectly and remember my sleeping posture. Then every time I lie on it, I feel like I am being hugged warmly. Damn, do Earthlings enjoy it so much? I feel like I can't leave my new bed. I can't stand the iron bed on our spaceship now. Rocket Raccoon waved his claws. I refuse to go back to the spaceship and leave here, unless Star-Lord, you help me get the mattress on the spaceship. Groot, Groot. Rocket Raccoon patted the tree man on the shoulder and said, see, Groot thinks so too. And Drax the Destroyer, who had been taking a bath, also spoke at this time. Captain, I request that the fully automatic massage chair be made a regular configuration of our spacecraft. After a tough battle, we desperately need a massage chair to relieve fatigue. Star-Lord lay in the pool and looked at his team members. Well, during the time he left here and went to Earth, the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy were completely conquered by these comfortable and enjoyable items. From cultural entertainment to delicious food and various enjoyment equipment used to relieve the pressure of life, the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy were completely intoxicated. Star-Lord touched his wet hair and said to his team members, in fact, there may be something I should tell you. Rocket Raccoon glanced at Star-Lord. Is it time for us to leave the Nova Corps and join the Earth Federation? If they keep providing this kind of treatment, I don't object to this decision. Well, the Nova Corps is not that bad. Although the food is terrible, there are no movies to watch, no games to play, no massage beds, no spas, no saunas, no comics, no animations, no various shows to watch, no, and so on. The Nova Corps is actually pretty good. When Star-Lord used this to teach Rocket Raccoon that he should be a little loyal to the Nova Corps, Rocket Raccoon bared his teeth. Then tell me what the Nova Corps has. An endless amount of blame to bear? Or is it to realize your dream of becoming a galactic superhero? Don't worry, your name Star-Lord and the name of our Guardians of the Galaxy are already very famous. But it's hard to say whether it's a good name or a bad name. Rocket Raccoon exposed the main purpose of Star-Lord staying in the Nova Corps. We can't keep playing hero role-playing games. They always treat us as temporary workers, not real superheroes. I know you want to have a good reputation, and I want it too. But if we can't get it, let's ask for something practical. After listening to Rocket's words, Gamora thought for a while and said to her boyfriend, Quill, Rocket has some truth in what he said. Rocket doesn't like people calling him Raccoon. His name is Rocket. Quill adjusted his golden hair and said, yes, I have actually been thinking about it during my time on Earth. Thinking about how we can get the fame I want and get real benefits. At least we can improve our importance in the Nova Corps and not be pulled out to take the blame every time. Gamora swam to Star-Lord's side, leaned next to her boyfriend and asked, so you thought of sleep? Good idea, again. How many good ideas can Star-Lord come up with? It's hard for Gamora to believe it. It's good enough that he doesn't come up with all kinds of troubles. Of course, Quill can occasionally come up with one or two good ideas. Gamora now hopes that Quill really came up with a good idea at this time, not a bad idea. Quill pointed to everything around for the team members to enjoy and said, I talked to the people of the Earth Federation, and we may be able to do a small business. Rocket Raccoon was very smart. He immediately asked, what small business? Star-Lord smiled, we can take back all those things on Earth that you think are good. And we can buy them on credit first. We can take them back to Nova Corps and let everyone in our Corps start using these things. Star-Lord stretched out a finger and said with a smile, moreover, we will be the only designated wholesaler. I think it's time for us to change the logistics organization of the Nova Corps, let them understand how logistics should be done, and let our comrades enjoy real relaxation and rest, as well as real food. Gamora and Rocket Raccoon's eyes lit up. Even the taciturn Drax nodded. Star-Lord's idea is good. It is something that can be done, and if done well, it will have a very good positive impact on the Guardians of the Galaxy within the Nova Corps. While the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy were discussing how to do this, Thor, who had transformed, came in with a box. He said hello to the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Good morning, everyone. You are about to leave? Before you leave, I plan to give you a great gift. Star-Lord and others who were discussing various entertainment facilities on Earth were very happy about Thor's visit. They felt that the Earth Federation should give them some parting gifts this time. Star-Lord, wearing big shorts, walked out of the warm water pool directly. He smiled and walked in front of Thor. He took the box curiously and asked, what is it? A new game console or a local specialty snack? He shook the box. Thor said with a smile, no, this is the Cosmic Cube, or to put it in a more understandable way, this is the Space Stone of the Infinity Stones. Now I give it to you on behalf of the Earth Federation. Thor's smile was so sincere, as if he was sending the best wishes to the guest who was about to go on a long journey. Quill, who was still shaking the box, suddenly froze. Then, almost subconsciously, he loosened his grip and let the box fall to the ground. Quill's smile was still frozen on his face, which was indescribably funny. Chapter 943 Life is a Happy Life? When Star-Lord heard what Thor said, his smile froze on his face. He really couldn't smile anymore. He didn't even react when the box containing the Cosmic Cube fell to the ground. Thor picked up the box and handed it to Star-Lord, saying with a smile, look at you, it's just a small gift. Don't be too excited and don't thank me too much. Thor patted Star-Lord on the shoulder while speaking. He spoke earnestly like an elder, look, take this gift well. Don't break the flowers and plants and the mechanical equipment here. Take it back and study it carefully and have fun. Play with you XXXXX. Quill cursed. What is the Infinity Stone? This thing is said to be a treasure, but it is also a source of trouble. The Guardians of the Galaxy had obtained an Infinity Stone before, which was snatched from Ronan the Accuser. and that stone was awarded to Ronan by Thanos. Originally, Ronan was asked to contribute Xander, but the plan was finally destroyed by the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the end, Ronan was killed by Star-Lord and his men, and Ronan's power gem was also taken away by Star-Lord and his men. In the end, it was sent to Nova Corps, and then transferred to the Collector. It sounds simple, but Star-Lord and his men suffered various pursuits along the way. Thanos only lent the gem to Ronan. In addition, Thanos himself sent out troops, so the planet Xander should not have been able to withstand Ronan's attack. As a result, everything was miscalculated because of the interference of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thanos' forces suffered heavy losses and lost the power gem. For this gem, Thanos sent 2 of the Black Order to hunt down the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the end, although the Guardians of the Galaxy successfully completed the mission, it goes without saying that they suffered risks and pain along the way. It can be said that they are lucky to be alive here now. So the Infinity Gem? Forget it, it's awesome and powerful. But Star-Lord has made up his mind to stay away from this thing since his last experience. What does the guy on the opposite side want to do now? Give him an Infinity Gem? Haven't I had enough of being hunted by Thanos? Although this is the Milky Way, it is the headquarters of the Nova Corps. It is difficult for Thanos to extend his power directly here. As long as he dares to come in, the Nova Corps will fight back with all their strength. It is hard to say who will win or lose in the end. After all, it is not that Thanos has not been arrested by the Nova Corps. It's just that he escaped quickly after being caught. But even so, we can't let our guard down. Although Thanos has become more and more powerful in recent years, he rarely takes action in person. But what if he takes a risk for the Space Stone? The Guardians of the Galaxy can escape from the Black Order, but it doesn't mean they can escape from Thanos. Thanos may not be able to compete with the entire Nova Corps, but it is still easy for him to crush these people. So Star-Lord pushed the box containing the cosmic cube into Thor's hands without thinking, and said, "Thank you, but I don't want this gift." Thor looked at Star-Lord, and then asked Drax the Destroyer, who had been silent, "What do you say, Drax?" The Destroyer stood up, shook off the water droplets on his body, and took the box from Thor. And said to Star-Lord, "We have an obligation to put this thing away and take it back." Quill's eyes widened. He looked at Drax in disbelief and said, "Do you know how much trouble this thing will bring us? Thanos may come to our door." Drax said indifferently, "Isn't that better? Just catch him, it's better to kill him." Speaking of killing Thanos, Drax seemed very excited. Yes, he has been looking for an opportunity to kill Thanos. And he has had many assassination experiences. How strong is Drax? The level of the Cosmic Hulk? He is also the guy with the strongest single combat power in the Guardians of the Galaxy. They escaped from the hands of the Black Order several times because of Drax's ability to attract firepower and his ability to fight against him. All of Drax's people died at the hands of Thanos, including his wife and children. It can be said that he and Thanos have an irreconcilable hatred. He wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood. If there is anyone in the entire Guardians of the Galaxy who is least afraid of fighting Thanos, it must be Drax. And why did Thor ask Drax directly after Star-Lord rejected him? It started with their fierce collision on the rugby field before. Since coming to the Defender's starport, Drax has been fascinated by the sport of rugby, but there are too few people who can play rugby with him. Only the heavy mecha made by Tony can play with him, the size of the anti-Hulk mecha. In terms of physical strength, Thor is the only one in the Illuminati who can fight him head-on, except for Dr. Banner. So after such a long time, everyone knew that Drax and Thanos had a grudge. Thor played several games of football with Drax, and then revealed that he had the Space Stone. And he hoped that Drax would take the stone away. The reason was very simple, without any lies or deception. Thor told the truth, the stone is too dangerous for us, and the Earth cannot keep such things. Lee Ji has said countless times that the best lie is the truth. The truth only needs to be told at the right time to be stronger than any woven lie. For example, these words to Drax. Drax knows what the Infinity Stones mean to Thanos. If the news of the Infinity Stones on Earth is known by Thanos, then the Earth must be in danger. Especially the Chitauri are coming, they are the minions of Thanos. Will they find the Space Stone during the attack? Very likely, then Thanos is likely to attack the Earth. Drax wants to take the Space Stone away, not simply because he feels that he needs to protect the Earth, but because he does not think that the Earth can really withstand Thanos' attack. If the Space Stone falls into Thanos' hands, it will be unbearable for Drax. Thanos will become stronger. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Drax must do everything he can to weaken Thanos' power so that he can kill Thanos in the end. Once he almost succeeded. So for Drax, the Space Stone must be taken away. It cannot be left behind, otherwise the Earth cannot be saved. Drax insisted on taking the Space Stone away, and Star-Lord could not refute it. Because morally speaking, this thing should indeed be handed over to the Nova Corps for safekeeping. The Nova Corps has accepted the Power Stone and has hardened Thanos. The two forces are incompatible and will eventually fight. So any possible act of aiding the enemy should not be allowed. In addition, Drax has saved everyone countless times in distress by personal force. The other members of the Guardians of the Galaxy owe him favors and know his hatred with Thanos. So when Drax insisted on doing this, Star-Lord sighed and finally agreed to transport the Space Stone. Thor finally breathed a sigh of relief. In any case, this thing will not be sent to Asgard. Sister, I helped you solve a big problem. Thor felt sincerely happy in his heart. Oh, by the way, I seem to owe someone a drop of wisdom? Never mind, I'll give it to him when I have the chance. Anyway, I will keep my promise and not ascend the throne. That's it, let's check the time. The Jiminy Show is about to start. I'm going to buy some poutine and cheese fries first, then lie on the sofa and eat while watching. Life is supposed to be so wonderful. Thor patted his belly with satisfaction. On Earth, Lee Ji was looking at his destroyed basement and felt a little unhappy. He looked at Strange, then asked him, "Did you do it?" Strange shook his head like a rattle. It was mainly Thor. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 944, The End of the Old Era. The basement of his house was demolished. Well, it was demolished quite thoroughly. According to Strange, it was Thor who did it. There were indeed many traces of lightning left at the scene. But why did Thor release lightning in the basement? Did he feel that he had too much electricity, so he released electricity to Strange? Hey, does he even want to shock men now? Or does he feel that there are too many women around him? Lee Ji felt goosebumps. But Thor is now in the Defender starport, and he is giving the Cosmic Cube to Star-Lord and the others. So there is no way to ask him to come and explain this matter now. So Lee Ji can only choose to believe Strange's words for the time being. I will find someone to clean up here. Lee Ji touched his chin. It is estimated that it will cost tens of thousands of dollars to rebuild this basement. A large amount of expenses will be lost inexplicably. And now Strange can only live in Thor's room temporarily. Lee Ji simply bought a bunk bed. Anyway, the basement is broken, so let Strange and Thor live together in the future. I heard that they completed this mission together. I believe their relationship should have eased now. This place needs to be rebuilt, which will probably take some time. So, you will sleep with Thor in the future. His room is big, and he has been learning medical skills. You can help him. Lee Ji patted Strange on the shoulder, not giving him a chance to refuse. By the way, you two should get along well in the next few days, and don't demolish the house above. Otherwise, I will exile you to another world. Lee Ji said to Strange very seriously. I have the right and the ability to do so. Lee Ji smiled before leaving Strange standing there in a daze. He seemed to have suffered a loss. Although Lee Ji did not pursue his own responsibility, he wanted to live with Thor. At least until the reconstruction was completed. IXXXXX. If it weren't for the Fountain of Wisdom, who would help him? My relationship with him is not that good. Moreover, Lee Ji finally threatened to exile me to another world if I broke the room. Will I have to take the blame for everything that Alaska broke in the future? In fact, Strange thought too much? In fact, whether he broke things or not, Lee Ji would exile him to another world. Of course, this was not Lee Ji's intention, but came from the instruction of the Ancient One. As the guardian of the plane, Lee Ji has the right to walk in the demi-plane and other planes connected to it. Lee Ji also repairs the loopholes on the Earth plane when he is free. Although Strange has been learning magic, he lacks practice. So the Ancient One needs Strange to go to various other worlds to practice his abilities. Lee Ji will send him on the road and pick him up later. Compared with Strange, Doom is much better. He can choose to go or not at that time. Because he is not lacking in combat experience, nor is he lacking in a cunning heart. Strange's ability to play tricks is still a little weak, and the heir of the supreme sorcerer cannot be a fool. Li Ji temporarily left here because today is a big day. In addition to the Guardians of the Galaxy taking Sam and various gifts from the Earth away, there is another very important thing. That is, X Reborn will be injected on a large scale in the United States. The first batch of 100,000 doses of the drug has begun to be transported from the port. Currently, free vaccination has begun in major cities in the United States such as New York, Los Angeles, and Washington. The publicity campaign began a month ago. Previously, the riots and marches of mutants for X Reborn caused great turmoil in the United States, especially the government. Mutants and anti-mutants joined forces to put pressure on the government, and the final result was that Congress approved a special fund of $50 billion for all mutants in the United States to be voluntarily vaccinated with X Reborn. The first batch of injections of this batch of drugs are Epsilon-level mutants who have huge genetic defects when they mutate. Both the East and West Coasts are counting mutants of this level. For example, the passengers that William, a taxi driver in New York, is carrying now are like this. In the back seat of his taxi, there is a mother and a child. The mother looks normal, but her child is very abnormal at first glance. He is wearing a pullover and a mask, covering himself tightly. But through the gap, William can still see some abnormal expressions on the child's face. For example, the hair was so lush that it was completely abnormal, and when the hand that was originally in the pocket occasionally appeared, William noticed that it was actually a claw. It looked like the front paw of his pet Garfield cat. The mother and son seemed very uneasy. They hugged each other, and the child lowered his head. The place where the mother took a taxi was exactly the injection site of the X Reborn drug. So William speculated that the child should be an Epsilon-level mutant with a huge genetic defect. In order to eliminate the anxiety of the mother and son, William stretched out his little finger and used his mutant ability. He turned his little finger into a small light bulb with a brightness of 5 watts LED light source. "Don't be nervous, Mom. I am also a mutant." The child's mother seemed to be relieved when she saw William showing his mutant ability. She sighed and asked with a hint of doubt, "Is this your mutant ability?" William smiled. "Yes, it is useless." The child's mother said with some envy, "But at least it is not harmful, right?" William raised his eyebrows. "Are you going to get vaccinated?" The child's mother nodded. "Obviously, yes. I guess many of the cars going in this direction have the same destination as me." William looked at the congested road, and he could already see the hospital where the injection was being done from a distance. The first batch of people injected in New York City reached 30,000 people. Even if the injections were completed in 3 days, there would be more than 10,000 people a day. In addition to the relatives and friends who came to accompany them, the entire periphery of the hospital was crowded. Fortunately, the police have dispatched police forces here to prepare, otherwise there would definitely be chaos at the scene. And now the car is about 200 meters away from the destination and can no longer move. The child's mother decided not to wait in the car. She got off the car directly after paying the money and walked to the injection site with her child. William looked at the endless stream of people. The era of mutants is coming to an end. As long as these drugs begin to be injected on a large scale, the largest group of mutants will disappear. William began to worry about his friend Submarine Bob, who went to Tuvalu. William likes to read a lot of political newspapers. He knows that the existence of Tuvalu is actually based on the existence of a large number of mutants in this world. In a country like Tuvalu, after losing a large number of mutants as basic support, only a few mutants who are unwilling to transform themselves are left. How long can they last? William didn't know, and he couldn't analyze it. Because he was just a taxi driver, not a big boss in this world. Maybe he should also follow the trend and inject the drug? But William vaguely felt that something was wrong, because Bob repeatedly emphasized to himself not to inject the first batch of X Reborn drugs, saying that it was a waste of time, energy and money. So there is a second batch? William drove slowly on the congested road. He felt a little complicated. Looking at the crowd at the injection point, he felt that the history of mutants would be thrown into the pile of historical papers. In another 20 years, maybe only the concept of mutants can be seen in textbooks. William smiled, but it was none of his business. In Tuvalu, Li Ji was talking to Katie enthusiastically. The first step of the plan went smoothly. "Are you ready for the next step?" Katie patted her cheek lightly to boost her spirits. She smiled and said to Li Ji, "I'm ready." Li Ji patted Katie on the back. "Well, Let's get started. Start a new era of mutants. Chapter 945. A new era is coming. New York taxi drivers think the era of mutants should be over. Anti-mutant radicals in the United States also think the era of mutants is over. The bigwigs of the Security Council also think the era of mutants is over. The young girl Katie, with her extraordinary charm and a momentary impulse, established Tuvalu, giving mutants around the world a holy place to take shelter. This is like the status of Israel in the hearts of the Jews. But this holy place has just been established, and before it has time to emit more light and heat, they took out the poison of self-destruction. Yes, poison. The X-rebirth potion is definitely a poison, which can activate the genes of ordinary mutants into the state of latent zone activation. Although the X gene has not been completely eliminated in the true sense, at least it has changed from dominant to recessive. Those mutants can become normal people again and work and live normally. Tuvalu has actually been a headache for some countries, including the United States. They neither understand this new regime, but they are afraid of their military power. The battle to eliminate Hydra clearly shows the combat effectiveness of this country. If other countries, including the United States, want to use force to oppress Tuvalu, they need to be prepared to pay a bloody price. Until now, everyone still remembers the terrible thunderstorm clouds over the Atlantic Ocean, which covered an area equivalent to the entire state of Arizona. If this kind of thunderstorm cloud occurs in the United States, the damage caused will be like 10 hydrogen bombs dropped from the other side of the Pacific Ocean at once, and the United States did not intercept any of them. This is a fatal blow. Although mutants do not have thermonuclear weapons, they have human nuclear weapons. Others do not know that the terrible storm was created by Thor. Storm and other weather and lightning mutants are not good enough in front of Thor. In addition, Tuvalu has received the endorsement and support of China. China is willing to carry out in-depth cooperation with Tuvalu, and plans can be achieved from national defense to scientific research. In addition, the new Eastern European Union headed by Latvia also came in to get involved. This makes the forces behind Tuvalu even stronger. Just like the United States supported Israel in the past. Because supporting Israel has allowed the United States to drive a nail in the Middle East. This time, China and Latvia's support for Tuvalu is a nail in the mutant group. Many countries are uncomfortable with this nail. If the Earth is not in a troubled time, all kinds of things are overwhelming countries. There will definitely be people who unite everyone to deal with Tuvalu, that's for sure. And just when some people are selfish, especially anti-mutant radicals, they will never give up and want to completely eliminate mutants. These people are also a huge force when they are privately linked. And just when the undercurrents are surging under the world, Tuvalu actually took out a weapon that can destroy itself. That is the X-rebirth potion. Those shrewd politicians don't know whether they should say Katie is stupid and naive. This girl's behavior should be said to be very kind. Because for the Epsilon level and some Delta level people, mutant genes are a torture and do not bring them any benefits. Katie is like a goddess to them, bringing them hope to cure their diseases. She is a goddess and an angel, the embodiment of all the good things in the world. No matter how much praise they give to Katie, they think it is not too much. But for other politicians, Katie's approach is stupid. For example, a certain British conservative leader said to his confidant secretary, "The little girl is still inexperienced. She may think that doing this is good for many people, but she doesn't know that doing this is actually the worst for Tuvalu." Look at the vaccination sites in London today. Many people lined up the night before. I'm afraid that 20,000 vaccines are not enough for the mutants coming from all directions. If these mutants become normal people, they may thank Tuvalu and Katie, but they will forget it all afterwards. People are forgetful. No matter how much she does, people will always forget. The leader talked to his confidant secretary with a smug expression on his face. She has mastered the ability to cure mutant defects, but she shouldn't release it directly like this. If I were her, I would treat this potion as a reward. Only those who have made contributions to Tuvalu can receive such rewards. They will be given the potion and allowed to help their suffering friends. This will quickly gather a large number of excellent mutants and gain their effectiveness. It will also increase the cohesion of the country more quickly. This is the vision and ambition that a politician should have. The conservative boss ridiculed Katie, and she actually made this potion public, and even got so many countries involved in the manufacture and distribution of these drugs. Although all countries have contributed a lot of money, enough to allow Tuvalu to build more. But does the money still have meaning now? Without a large number of basic mutants, does Tuvalu still have any meaning to exist? The confidence secretary immediately followed the boss's words and said, yes, so, President Katie is just a little girl. Although she became the leader of a country by coincidence, her vision is still not far-sighted enough. A true politician must have a longer-term vision. The boss was very satisfied with the secretary's response, because the secretary's words were actually praising him. The boss felt that this kind of praise was very useful. He waved his hand and said, it's almost time to prepare for the public opinion offensive. Although this medicine was invented by Tuvalu, it was also bought by our British Empire with real money. We can't let Tuvalu earn that good reputation. We must let our citizens know. It was the country, the government, and us who saved them. The boss pointed to himself and said, they should put their gratitude on us and boost the support for Congress. Let them know that we are thinking of them wholeheartedly. The trusted secretary nodded and said, BBC and British Broadcasting Corporation are ready. Interview materials will be prepared during the injection today. And there will be high-end interviews in the evening. In fact, we should almost go to the interview room to prepare for the recording. The interview with you will be broadcast tomorrow. The main point is to show that you act decisively when you should, seek the welfare of the majority of citizens, and successfully solve the mutant problem that has plagued society for many years. The boss smiled slightly. The fact that an old politician with deep scheming could show such an expression should show how happy he is in his heart. The boss nodded and said, okay, let's go now. Let's go record the video first. We need to build public opinion, which will help me win several seats in the upper house in the party. The boss was in a good mood. But when he just stepped out of his office and sat in the fully bulletproof Maybach luxury car, his good mood disappeared. The reason was that his trusted secretary answered a phone call, of course. The boss would not be angry because the secretary answered a phone call, even if it was a private call. He would not be angry. The other party was his confidant. But the secretary's face was not good after answering the phone. He picked up the tablet computer in the car and connected to the network. It seemed that he was surfing the internet. The boss coughed twice. He needed to remind him not to play online games during working hours. But the secretary looked at the boss with a wry smile, and then said, please wait a moment, I just received a message about something, and now I have to ask you to take a look. He quickly operated on the tablet and skillfully hung up the VPN to climb over the wall. Then he clicked on a Chinese live broadcast website, and the large Chinese title on the website was very eye-catching. President Tuvalu's first live webcast, a new era for mutants has arrived. Chapter 946. China. The Chinese internet is now boiling. Although the world has become a global village, and everyone says that the internet has no borders. But there is still a great internet wall in China. This great wall is more than 200 meters high. The foundation is built with cornerstones with magic inscriptions, and the upper layer is made of ice frozen from the far north water. This great wall resists the White Walkers inside and outside the wall. Yes, it is the thing in A Song of Ice and Fire. The function of the Internet Great Wall is the same as that of the Great Wall in A Song of Ice and Fire. If the White Walkers want to climb over the wall, they must use a magical artifact called VPN. It's just that everyone has been arguing about who is a White Walker, who is a wildling, and who is a human. Is the Great Wall blocking the White Walkers outside the wall and protecting the people inside the wall from the ravages of the wind and snow outside? Or is it that the Great Wall actually confines the White Walkers and protects the people outside the wall, so that they can be free from the attacks of the White Walkers? Because the White Walkers are killing each other happily inside the wall. Who is the monster of whom? This is probably a difficult question to answer. However, since the wall exists, some partitions still exist. For example, this time when Katie was a guest on the Douyi live broadcast platform in China, this event was not promoted globally. Or it was deliberately not promoted. The purpose was to create a time difference and catch some people off guard. In this era, self-media is prevalent and online media has been extremely developed. It takes a long time to prepare for a traditional press conference, and some information needs to be disclosed to the media in advance. Even if confidentiality is required, it is impossible to be completely thorough. But the live broadcast platform is different. This is a less official and informal place. Here there are anchors with good looks to show their cuteness, and people who can play music, sing and play the piano. There are also people who are good at playing games or think they are very cool to broadcast their game skills, and so on. Now the live broadcast industry is in its golden age, and the number of millions or tens of millions of viewers is enough to attract public opinion. Saying some less official words on a platform that is not so official, so that everything will have room for reversal. Katie's live broadcast this time was actually the result of Li Ji's previous discussion with Professor Charles. Professor Charles, we need to hold a press conference to announce the products of the beauty project in the X new drug. But the press conference cannot be too formal. If it is too formal, any deviation in the future will easily cause a strong backlash. At the official press conference, everything Katie said is likely to become a formal national declaration. Once it is said, it cannot be changed. But we need to test the reactions of all parties to this matter first. Professor Charles said to Li Ji with some distress. How do you think we should deal with this matter? Publicity is what you are best at? Li Ji did not pretend to be modest for Professor Charles' praise. Because he is really good at publicity. There is no need to pretend that he is not good at it. After hearing Professor Charles' question, Li Ji immediately answered without hesitation, then let's live broadcast it. Yes, living in the internet age, Li Ji is not a person who does not know how to adapt. In order to improve the image of Tuvalu, he made a group of X-Men debut as idols. He knows too well the power of emerging media and emerging information in the world today. The mouthpiece of traditional media is firmly controlled by politicians. And the new media still has some freedom of its own. The most important thing is that this platform has a considerable audience, and it doesn't need to be so formal to speak here. If it doesn't work, you can take back what you said. At most, it will be a loss of face for yourself, not for the country. After negotiating with the SHIE, they arranged such a live broadcast. And Dao spent a huge price to grab the right to live broadcast this time. This is the first live broadcast of the Mutant Queen. If it is taken away by the enemy stations such as Panda, Tiger Fang, and Zhanki, how much traffic will be divided? Although I don't know what Katie wants to live broadcast, this does not hinder the enthusiasm of Daoi's senior management. This small company that is preparing for listing is worried about not having more and bigger topics. If it is done well this time, maybe we don't need to list in the Shanghai and Shenzhen stock exchanges, we can go directly to Nasdaq. Queen Katie's live broadcast. This is very topical. You know, there are a lot of people in China who are obsessed with appearance, and Katie is obviously a big beauty. As the country with the largest number of mutants, Katie has also opened a Sina Weibo account. Occasionally, she posts her daily photos. For example, she posts that she ate delicious food today, and a group of people leave comments below, I want to eat it too. Then she posts that she received a woolen coat from a good friend today and feels so warm, and another group of people leave comments below, I am so happy, I want the same one on Teobeo. Anyway, many people don't care what Katie really does, as long as she looks good, they will be her fans. In addition, Katie's identity as the Queen of Mutants sounds very high, so people will want to be her fans even more. There are so many passers-by fans. Not to mention that Katie herself is indeed a doer with her own charm. Now Katie's Weibo has made it into the top 10 of Sina Weibo. How can Dao not pay attention to such a big star coming to Dao for live broadcast? In order to support Katie's first live broadcast, Dao also specially invited Dao's #1 mom, Chen Yifer, to warm up Katie. The old artist Chen Yifer of the People performed 2 of his best crosstalks, and then sang a piece of Fairy Tale Town which he was not so good at, and then he left the stage gloriously amid the barrage of millions of godsons who kept saying, oh wow. Because this was a live broadcast with confidential content, many people didn't know what happened. In fact, Dao now gave all the recommended positions to Katie, and pushed the news that Katie, the Queen of Mutants, is a guest on Dao Live to all the people watching the live broadcast. At the same time, all members of the 3 teams of X-Men, New Generation, Backbone, and Phoenix team, posted their own Weibo messages, especially they updated an important news on Sina Weibo in China. Katie, the Queen of Mutants, is broadcasting online for the first time, supporting, forwarding, and collecting. These are all big verses with tens of millions of fans. Even a photo of instant noodles posted late at night can be reposted by hundreds of thousands of people. The result of these people's simultaneous efforts is that almost in an instant, everyone on the Chinese internet knew about a big event. That is, Katie is going to broadcast live. The hot search of this news rushed to the top of Baidu's hot search list like a rocket. When Katie sat in the carefully designed live broadcast room, the lighting here was arranged by a Hollywood-level lighting engineer, and the shooting equipment was adjusted by a photographer who won the Oscar for Best Cinematography. There was also a Grammy-level microphone adjustment. Katie turned on the camera and looked at herself in the live broadcast, and she was stunned. Is this beautiful face really her? In addition to natural appearance, the most important factors for whether a person's shooting is good or not are lighting, camera equipment, camera angle, and makeup. And today, the people who are in charge of all this for Katie are all from the top group of Hollywood. A woman with only 6 points, out of 10, in appearance can present an 8-point level in the cinema through various means in the hands of this group of people. Not to mention that Katie's appearance is at least 8.5 points. Coupled with the whole tinkering of these people, the moment the live broadcast was turned on, Katie's beautiful face instantly exploded. Just when she was stunned, the whole live broadcast room exploded. Barrages were flying all over the sky. Oh my god. It's really Queen Katie. Fuck. Is the Queen so beautiful in real life? Is she so photogenic? She looks even prettier in live broadcasts than in photos. No, I'm in love. Mom, the woman on the other side of the screen is flirting with me. Queen, I want to have a baby with you. All kinds of comments were flying around. Although no one knew what Katie was going to broadcast live, everyone thought it would be nice to just watch Katie's stunning beauty quietly. Except for being stunned at the beginning, Katie quickly came back to her senses. It was her first time to broadcast live online, and she was a little overwhelmed. She looked up and saw Lee Ji standing outside the glass wall of the live broadcast room, giving her a thumbs up. And he told her with his mouth, "You can do it." Katie took a deep breath. Well, she had made so many preparations. There was no reason why she couldn't do it. Katie adjusted her mood, waved to the camera and said in standard broadcaster-level Mandarin, "Welcome everyone to my live broadcast room. I am Katie Pride, a new female anchor from Tuvalu." When Katie spoke in standard Mandarin, the whole live broadcast room was silent for a while. Then the barrage of comments in the whole live broadcast room exploded again. The screen was full of 666,666 flying across, and even Katie's face could not be seen clearly. This is exactly the effect that Lee Ji and Katie need. This time the publicity needs to attract everyone's attention. In order to please the Chinese fans, Katie specially went to learn Mandarin. Of course, her learning method is different from others. She did not learn from textbooks. Instead, she asked the professor to download a set of daily Chinese words directly into her brain. Yes, Professor Charles has this ability. He can use other people's brains as USB flash drives. But he does not recommend this method of use, because people with weak brains will directly burn their brains. And this is a cheating behavior. Professor Charles is a teacher. If it is not necessary, he would rather hope that students can master knowledge through learning. Because only by learning and mastering knowledge can you truly understand it. Simple downloading is just a repeater. But language-related things don't matter. Anyway, I'm not going to be a great translator or writer. As long as I can learn daily words, it's fine. And now, the Chinese that Katie learned by cheating has come into play. Chapter 947 Life is all about eating without getting fat. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to meet you all here. Thank you for watching me in the live studio. Katie greeted the Chinese audience on the other side of the computer screen in standard Mandarin. This Mandarin, which was so standard that it could be used for broadcasting and hosting, instantly shocked all the Chinese netizens. The comments in Daoyu's live studio instantly exploded. Oh my god. The Queen is speaking Mandarin. Mom, I'm going to take the CET4 and CET6 exams tomorrow. Please sign me up for the TOEFL/NIELTS. I can understand English as well as Chinese now. Stop dreaming, the people in the comments in front are speaking Chinese. If you want to take the TOEFL/NIELTS, you'll probably be beaten to death by your mother. Is Queen Katie's Mandarin so good? It feels better than many hosts. Her voice is so nice. I can't take it anymore. I'm in love. I suspect I'm a fake Chinese. As a Cantonese, my hair has always been very ordinary. Come on, brothers in front, don't leave. Let's be fake Chinese together tonight. Various comments flew across the screen, and just after Katie said a few words, many local tyrants generously gave various gifts. Small gifts like airplanes and rockets are nothing. Yachts and super rockets are the best. Brother, have you seen thousands of boats go south? Brother, have you seen the stars twinkle? Today, the local tyrants showed a lot of people whose imaginations were limited by poverty. The local tyrants were frantically giving Katie all kinds of gifts. Because they gave too many gifts, the back-end system was on the verge of collapse. Fortunately, the programmer managed to survive in the end. Queen Katie's first live broadcast did not have a black screen. As a queen, Katie naturally could not go crazy with joy when seeing all kinds of gifts like some small anchors. She just said calmly, "Thank you for the gifts." Because Katie did not start a live broadcast specifically to make money, she wanted an unofficial promotion. So no matter how many gifts the local tyrants gave, it was meaningless to Katie. But even so, she still thanked everyone beautifully. "Actually, I am very happy to meet you face to face in this place, at least face to face in real time on the internet," Katie said with a smile, and the barrage was full of perverts. "I know that there are a lot of mutants in China. I have seen many mutants when I went to China once before. I know you live well in China, and I am very happy." A large number of barrages floated across the screen again. "That's great. You can find a job without any discrimination. Some jobs give priority to mutants. The only thing missing is extra points for the college entrance examination." The previous commentator said it wrong. "I heard that the Ministry of Education will reform next year, and mutants may be included in the group of extra points for the college entrance examination." Fuck. Is what you said before true? I will take the college entrance examination next year, and I want to apply to a key university. Your comment has put me under more competitive pressure. Wow, I also want to be a mutant. Studying is so hard. I have hit the ceiling in the mock exams. It feels so difficult to improve my score by more than 10 points. If I can get more than 10 points, I will be more confident in the college entrance examination. These comments are all envious of mutants. Of course, there's envy and jealousy. Envy, jealousy and hatred are an indispensable trinity. I am serious. The country gives mutants too many benefits. It's okay to give them priority for some jobs, but now they have to get extra points for the college entrance examination? Is it fair? Am I fair? The college entrance examination should be the fairest selection in this country. When someone raises a question, someone will naturally stand up to refute it. When an Uncle Party member said that the college entrance examination would be given extra points, you jumped up and shouted. The country hasn't confirmed it yet. Why are you shouting so anxiously? Could it be the US sense? Are they deliberately trying to provoke the harmonious relationship in our country? When the rebuttal voice came out, it was not surprising that two factions emerged and then they started to tear each other apart. This kind of online public opinion war of words is what many experts are good at. Once they pick up the keyboard, they will be as powerful as the wind and as fierce as fire. Just like the White Walkers slaughtering the wildlings in the Song of Ice and Fire. A big debate on whether mutants should be treated less well in China was launched in Katie's live broadcast room. Under normal circumstances, ordinary anchors would ask the super administrator to ban people when encountering such things. Because such a rhythm can easily cause the live broadcast room and the anchor himself to say GG. But Katie did not stop all this, and even smiled as she watched the Chinese netizens arguing, attacking each other. Some netizens found that the anchor was obviously slacking off, not performing any programs, but watching the netizens quarreling with each other. This made some netizens think that the anchor Katie should also be dragged into the water. So some comments floated over. The queen of other species openly slacked off during the live broadcast, and she didn't care about the serious situation of the mutant problem in China. Stop stirring up trouble in the front, maybe Queen Katie doesn't know how to respond to us. Look at your comments, they are so dense that I can't see anything clearly. Katie's eyes quickly browsed various information on various comments. She raised her head secretly and exchanged glances with Li Ji outside the glass wall. Although China is the country that treats mutants most fairly, this fairness is presented in a comparative degree. Where there are people, there will be disputes. There is no real paradise in this world. Li Ji also looked at the dense comments, and he nodded to Katie, indicating that now is the time to interrupt. Now all the netizens have turned from fighting with each other to asking Katie what she thinks about the extra points for Chinese mutants in the college entrance examination. Extra points for the college entrance examination. Katie scratched her head. I don't take the Chinese college entrance examination, so I don't know. You say it's unfair? Maybe, but just like there are mutants with good mutant abilities and mutant abilities with bad ones. For example, Some people have mutated into fishtails, but they can't breathe underwater. Or they have webbed feet like ducks and can't even hold a pen. Their lives are actually very hard. Although I know that China has included these people in the minimum living security system, life is still very difficult. Katie was talking about the daily lives of those epsilon-level mutants. And this kind of people are not uncommon in China, so some people in the barrage began to talk about the miserable conditions of various epsilon-level mutants they have seen. So for mutants, many people now become envious, jealous and sympathetic. At this time, a comment said, "Didn't Tuvalu develop the X reborn drug? It was to relieve the suffering of those people. It has started to be injected on a large scale in China today. In the future, the mutant diseases of epsilon-level mutants can be cured." This is thanks to Queen Katie. Yes, this is indeed thanks to Queen Katie. She has cured many people who are suffering. Countless people thought of the major event that happened in the world today, which was the large-scale injection of the X reborn drug. In China, it is no exception. Most mutants who are suffering from mutation defects are ready to start injecting vaccines to relieve their pain. From this aspect, Katie has helped many people. So a large number of people in the comment appeared in the comment to send gifts and comment to thank Katie for what she did. Katie accepted the blessings from various netizens with a smile, and at this time Katie also responded, "Actually, you can't thank me alone, there are many scientists in Tuvalu who participated in the research of this project. In fact, before Tuvalu was established, scientists have been studying this project for decades. I just happened to be in this situation. I just made everyone's experimental project a success." Katie smiled shyly, and the girl's youthfulness instantly attracted a group of wolves howling. At this time, Katie mentioned it intentionally or unintentionally, "Actually, we have been conducting research on making the X gene disease-free. Eliminating the pathology of epsilon-class mutants is only the most preliminary idea. Because the X gene is latent, people born in the future may also have it. I always think that treating it as a disease is a very painful thing, and it will also make epsilon-class mutants feel a sense of loss, as if they are inferior to others." Katie said in a joking way, "So our scientists have actually been studying, what if we can replace the harmful X gene pathology of epsilon-class mutants with some harmless, but instead use some interesting mutant abilities to replace the harmful genes in their bodies. For example, we have recently successfully conducted several sets of interesting genetic experiments. And the most interesting one, I think, is the X ability of eat without getting fat. It allows the owner of this X ability to eat and drink to his heart's content without worrying about weight problems." Katie smiled, as if she was just chatting with a group of netizens, but what she said at that time instantly ignited the enthusiasm of all the netizens. Countless people began to contact their friends, especially mutant friends, through QQ, WeChat and other means of communication, to tell them that something big had happened in Katie's live broadcast room. Chapter 948. Then the question comes, please vote and subscribe. We have developed a very interesting X gene ability, which is that you can eat without gaining weight. Katie said with a smile, this ability allows the X gene to control the daily calorie intake very well. For example, if you are an ordinary adult office worker, the daily calorie consumption is 1,700 to 1,900 kcal, which is the normal calorie intake. Then, using this X gene mutation ability, you can control your calorie intake. Katie held her little face with both hands, looking cute. She continued to say a message that would drive countless people crazy with this cute gesture. For example, you need 1,900 kcal of calories, but the food you actually ate today is not very healthy, such as some fried foods, such as fried chicken. In fact, the calorie intake has reached 3,000 kcal. We all know that after the human body can metabolize some calories, the excess will be stored by us for our emergency needs. And this stored thing is called fat. Katie pinched her belly, but her belly was very smooth, with a very low fat content, and she couldn't pinch out any fat. After experimenting for a long time, Katie gave up. Okay, I can't pinch fat on my waist, but I guess you should understand what I mean. A wave of envy and jealousy floated through the barrage. Damn it. The queen is showing off. Such a flat belly, it seems that I can see the vest line. Wow, as a woman, I envy this kind of figure. I touched my belly that looks like I was pregnant for 10 months, and I think if I have this ability, please give me a dozen. There were all kinds of comments in the barrage, and since Katie just said that Tuvalu has developed an ability X that can eat without gaining weight, The number of people in the entire live broadcast room began to surge. Many people who didn't watch the live broadcast at all temporarily registered an account to watch Katie's live broadcast. Because everyone wanted to know if what she said was true. It seems that everyone likes this ability very much. Katie smiled, and Leiji nodded to Katie outside the glass wall, indicating that she could release further news. At present, everyone is very interested in this ability and very enthusiastic. Katie continued, in fact, we are conducting in-depth research and development on this ability. If we eat more calories than we need, the excess calories will be excreted. Simply put, it prevents the stomach and intestines from absorbing and storing excess calories. You eat 3000 kcal of calories, but you only need 2000 kcal, so the excess 1000 kcal will be excreted. And this is just our primary research on this mutant ability. The netizens in the barrage were excited. Oh my god. Such a heaven-defying ability is still a primary research. Does this mean that I don't have to worry about calories when I go to KFNK to eat a family bucket every day in the future? Wow. Then I won't be invincible when eating buffets in the future? Eat as much as you want. In response to the excitement of the netizens, Katie calmly said, first of all, let me correct you. Just eating without gaining weight does not make you a big eater. It turns out that you are full after eating one bowl of rice, but you can't eat 2 bowls just because you have this ability. With this ability, your appetite remains unchanged, it just allows us to better control calorie intake. As for the gene ability of eating without gaining weight, our scientists are also preparing to develop more branches. Let this ability be deeply developed, and even be able to cure diseases and save lives. Katie nodded seriously. The netizens were shocked. The X gene that can eat without gaining weight can also save people? Oh, yes. Some netizens quickly realized that at least it can save obesity. Many people are not simply obese because they can't eat, and some people are obese because of genes. These people really need this ability to cure diseases. Katie expressed her approval to the netizens who thought of this aspect, but she said, in fact, there's more than one. There are many aspects that can be developed. Excreting excess calories and controlling our calorie intake is only the first step of this ability. In the second step, we hope to divide what is absorbed and what is excreted more finely. For example, let the body's genes judge the current physical condition, so that it can sense which nutrients the body needs most and which nutrients should be absorbed first, and those nutrients that are in excess should be prevented from being absorbed excessively. For example, we need sugar and fat. But excessive sugar and fat will bring us various diseases, including diabetes, high blood pressure, high blood lipids, fatty liver, etc. Katie discussed with the netizens enthusiastically, not feeling like a national leader at all, just like an ordinary anchor imagining the future. Our genes have a strong learning ability. Sometimes we can always vaguely feel what we need to eat and what we should not eat. But we lack self-control and cannot resist those delicious foods. I think the world is full of malice towards us. Most of the delicious foods are not very healthy. For example, I like to eat chocolate heavy oil cake. It's delicious. If I eat it freely, I can eat a whole pound of heavy oil cake in an afternoon tea. Katie sighed. But I know how sinful it is to eat this kind of thing. The calories provided by a pound of heavy oil cake are much higher than the calories I need in a day. And the fat and sugar content of this kind of food is terrible. The legendary eating a bite will make you gain 10 pounds. It is definitely an unhealthy diet, but I just like it. Katie's words were highly recognized by netizens, and a group of people spoke up and said that they also like to eat all kinds of unhealthy foods. I like fried chicken legs the most. I know it's unhealthy, but I can't help it. I eat 2 magnums every day in the summer, and I gain 10 pounds in one summer. 10 pounds. My blood sugar has also risen. I like all kinds of fried foods, and I especially like to eat things baked with cheese. I just made cheese-baked potatoes tonight. Full of calories, full of guilt. But I still finished a whole bowl. Seeing the netizens in the barrage begin to talk about their love for unhealthy food, Katie nodded and said, yes, this is why we hope that this gene will be further deepened. Not only controlling calories, but also letting our genes adjust the nutrients they need according to our physical condition. Excrete excess sugar, fat and other things. In this way, we don't have to avoid food, but we can also get the healthiest diet. Katie waved her little fist as she spoke. Have you ever thought about eating whatever food you like in the future, and never have to worry about your body shape? Go to the gym to exercise, and never have to give up on building your own mermaid line and vest line because of the strict dietary requirements. 40 minutes of light exercise every day, even if you eat all kinds of unhealthy foods, you can still achieve your goals in the end. Fitness is no longer so painful. There are also those who love sweets. They suffer from diabetes because they like sweets too much, and they have no connection with sugar from then on. This is very painful for them. But as long as the body can refuse to absorb excessive sugar, then they will be cured without medicine? Do they not have to take insulin every day, and do not have to feel regretful when seeing sweets and various things that cannot be eaten? We can also control excessive salt intake and reduce the burden on various internal organs in the body. There is no need to change the heavy taste of the diet you are used to for a healthy life. Including heavy oil and spicy food can be eliminated. In fact, many of our diseases are caused by eating. As long as we can control our diet, maybe we can solve half of the patients in the world. Katie expressed her ambition. So do you think this X ability is good? The comments were crazy, and netizens were posting like crazy, good, 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 and 666. And in this cheering, there were still sober netizens. Someone asked a very critical question, so here comes the question, Queen Katie. Where can we buy such a good ability? P.S. Please vote, recommend, monthly, and subscribe. Chapter 949 The Beginning of Boiling. In this era, the internet is the main means of communication for people. People from all over the world, speaking different accents and eating different foods can simply use their mobile phones or computers to communicate with people thousands of kilometers away. Exchange their own thoughts, exchange their own experiences, and of course, the most important thing, which is also the spiritual food that many people cannot live without for a lifetime, exchange their own gossip. Katie's live broadcast was very popular. Although Katie's live broadcast was only 1 hour long, and the number of viewers at the peak period was only tens of millions. But the words she said have been recorded by countless people and posted on the internet. And in just one night, the genetic ability of not getting fat that Katie mentioned has spread all over the country. It has set off a frenzy throughout China. Many netizens who don't pay attention to live broadcasts, on the way to work or school the next day, they open their phones to check what news there is today. Almost all of them were flooded with the same news. Whether it was Taoxiao, Tencent News, Baidu News, or Sina News, all the hot search terms on the entire network were dominated by the news of Katie's live broadcast, a new era of mutants almost overnight. And the information that Katie said in yesterday's live broadcast about the X gene for not getting fat, maintaining a good figure, and suppressing various diseases also began to spread. Open Baidu's hot search. The first one is last night's President Katie's live broadcast. The second one is, where can I buy the medicine President Katie mentioned? The third one is, how to become a mutant. It can be said that all the news today is about the potion that won't make you fat when you eat that Katie mentioned in her live broadcast yesterday. Even on Taobao, sellers have begun to sell X-Gene Potion, which won't make you fat when you eat, but this is only a pre-sale sale. Buyers are required to pay a pre-sale deposit of 10,000 yuan first, and pay the balance after the goods arrive. The price of the entire potion is as high as 50,000 yuan. And the scam that looks very fake and cheap has actually been paid for by more than 1,000 people. Many people have become accustomed to buying everything on Taobao, and think that Taobao, which is omnipotent, has everything. There are still many people who have this idea. Of course, Li Ji has no control over this kind of financial fraud case, and it has nothing to do with him. Now the entire Chinese network is boiling. Almost everyone is looking for the gene potion that Katie mentioned. Some Epsilon-level mutants refused to inject the first batch of X-newborn potion after learning the news that Katie said. They vowed, "We are willing to wait for a while." President Katie has said that the second generation of newborn potion will be studied. This potion is better for us, and there is no need to pay for the first batch of potion. Yes, they are all mutants. In China, mutants are not discriminated against, and the X-gene medicine injected into Epsilon-class mutants is more used to treat diseases. If what Katie said is true, then we have to consider whether to wait for the second batch of newborn medicine. Because this mutant ability is very tempting. Many Delta-class mutants want to transform their useless abilities into this ability. Even many ordinary girls are discussing whether this medicine can be injected into ordinary people, or if they must become mutants to use it. If this medicine is real, and it must be used by mutants, then I would rather become a mutant. This is the message of many girls on WatchIt Moments today. They all forwarded Katie's live video. What she said is the ability that countless women dream of. Some people don't eat or drink to lose weight, have liposuction injections, and even have gastric reduction surgery. And in order to do all this, they have paid a lot. Relatively speaking, becoming a mutant? Well, this price is very small, okay. Besides, there's nothing wrong with being a mutant in China. Maybe it can add extra points to the college entrance examination in the future. The trend caused by Katie's words not only began to have an impact in China, but also began to spread slowly from China. After all, China is a big country, and many countries around it are paying close attention to China's every move. The fermentation on the internet media naturally attracted official attention. Zheng Xian, director of the Shenmiao Bureau, called Katie in Tuvalu and asked her what happened. "Oh, I was just too happy yesterday, and I accidentally said some ideas when communicating with netizens." Katie's answer was in the direction designed by Li Ji at the beginning. After all, it is a live broadcast platform, not an official press conference. No matter what is said, there is room for maneuver. At most, personal reputation will be damaged, and no one will really catch Tuvalu's handle. Even if this new potion has not been released and caused a lot of controversy, the worst result is that Katie will step down and resign. For Tuvalu and the Illuminati, it is necessary to conduct this test. Because only by testing how the people react to this matter can we better implement the next plan. It can be said that everyone's response is more enthusiastic than we imagined. Professor Charles said excitedly to Li Ji after browsing the Chinese news. Many people are willing to pay for the non-fat X drug. And this is just one link in our entire X drug industry chain. If our entire industry chain is announced, I can't imagine how big a trend it will cause. How crazy people will be for it. I really can't wait to produce all the products in the entire industry chain, and then announce it to everyone and let everyone use it. This can not only solve the mutant problem, but also save many people's lives. Professor Charles was so excited that he couldn't help himself. The professor's lack of calmness or enthusiasm is understandable. Because the goal he has been fighting for all his life has seen the dawn, and it seems that it will be realized soon. How can he not be excited? He used to think that he would never see the dawn of realizing his ideal in his lifetime. Li Ji was obviously calmer. He shook the professor's shoulder and replied, "Okay, Professor. Okay, Professor. Calm down. What we are doing now is just the first step. We still have more things to do. Since the people are so enthusiastic, let's add fuel to the enthusiasm." I believe many politicians are also paying attention to this matter and want to see whether what Katie said is true or false. We need to find a breakthrough for the X-newborn potion from China and the new Eastern European alliance. After listening to Li Ji's words, the professor calmed down. He took a deep breath. "You are right, we should start the next step. What do you need to do?" Li Ji smiled. "It's very simple, let the power of capital intervene. War will compromise with politics, and politics will compromise with capital. Once the monster of money is out of the cage, few people can contain it. The emergence of new energy has caused the old energy market to rapidly decline. Whether it is energy exporting countries or energy traders, they are all facing the problem of industrial transformation. If some succeed in this wave, some will inevitably fail. Now there are many tycoons on Wall Street waving large sums of money seeking investment. Many people are rich, but if they do not invest in new projects, their wealth will only continue to shrink. In order to ensure their current life and enjoy the social status, they need to continue to make money and invest. Wall Street has cheated a lot of these people of their money over the past year." Li Ji said this with a smirk on his face. Professor Charles drove away some bad feelings in his heart and asked, "Are you eyeing these people's money?" Li Ji shook his head. No. How can you ask me to eye these people's money? It should be said that I gave them a better investment direction. Don't do those polluting energy industries anymore. Start investing in a greater and broader market. The global human beauty evolution industry, a huge market with an annual output value of more than $1 trillion is waiting for everyone. I just gave them a chance to buy a ticket to get on the ship. Their fare is just a small sum of money and their current political influence. And they only have one such good opportunity. If they miss it, then let them regret it for the rest of their lives." Li Ji clapped his hands. "Okay, Professor Charles. It's time for us to find our beauty emperor. It's time for the Shuguang group to take the first step. I think we should start applauding Tony Stark." He will soon have more and better beauty products to sell. Liji said as he pushed the professor's wheelchair away. Professor Charles, who was sitting in a wheelchair, couldn't help but think, would Tony Stark really be happy about selling a few more beauty products? Well, forget it, it's none of his business. Anyway, at least Tony made money, didn't he? Tony Stark, who is developing a new iron armor for fighting in space for the Earth Federation. Note, this is the mass-produced model handed over to the Osborn Group for production. Always feels that he seems to have forgotten to do something today. He couldn't help but ask his artificial intelligence, Jarvis, did I forget something today? Jarvis replied in a gentle voice, today is the first tentative appearance of the X-Beauty Plan product, sir. Do you need to buy a bottle of good wine to celebrate? Tony tilted his head, what to celebrate? Celebrate the growing strength of Dawn Company. Your cosmetics and beauty props will change everyone on the earth. People will definitely remember your name in the future. Human beings are making great strides in the beauty industry and even affecting people all over the world. Tony Stark's name as the king of cosmeceuticals will live forever in human history documents. Jarvis said as a matter of course. Tony Stark, P.S., monthly ticket. Chapter 950, Dog Owner. In a top hotel in Upper Manhattan, New York, Mohammed woke up in his suite that rented for $450,000 a month. The suite was luxurious, and it took Mohammed some effort to get out of his outrageously large bed. The bathroom had a large bathtub that could be used for swimming. It also had a full set of warm water spa system, yes, the same system that made the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy feel so good at the Defenders starport. There was also a floor-to-ceiling glass viewing room, which allowed Mohammed to easily overlook the prosperity of the upper city from the height of the hotel, and also see Wall Street. Yes, Wall Street. This is really a place that people love and hate. After cleaning himself up, Mohammed ordered a breakfast service. The hotel chef came directly to Mohammed's suite to prepare breakfast for him alone. He made a sandwich for him early in the morning according to Mohammed's request. Yes, it looked like an ordinary sandwich, but the ingredients added were freshly killed and cooked Australian lobster meat and fresh dry-fried scallops. The sauce that looks like ordinary mayonnaise is mixed with French foie gras, and the black object that is shaved into thin slices to enhance the aroma is actually French black truffles. After mixing some vegetables that Mohammed likes to eat, and finally embellishing it with some edible gold foil, Mohammed's simple breakfast is complete. If no one says it, others will definitely not be able to see how luxurious this seemingly simple sandwich is now. The price of this sandwich is probably enough for many people to eat sandwiches 3 times a day and add crazy toppings to eat for a month. As for whether the sandwich tastes more than 100 times better than ordinary sandwiches, that depends on personal opinion. Anyway, according to Liji's evaluation, this food is full of the aroma of burning money. Of course, such breakfast service is not included in the room rate. This money needs to be paid separately by Mohammed. It can be said that this kind of food and service with a strong burning smell of money is simply not affordable for ordinary people. Mohammed can make this sandwich so lightly, and it is as simple as ordering a pancake at a breakfast stall on the street. While you are still struggling to decide whether to add an extra egg or a crisp to your pancake, people are already sprinkling black truffles as chives. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that Mohammed is a rich man who spends money so freely without even frowning. No, the term rich man may not be accurate. Let's use a more accurate description. Mohammed is a big dog owner. Well, I think everyone now understands where he is from and what he does. For the rest of the world, there is a strange group of people in this world called rich people, and even stranger than rich people are big dog owners. This adjective uses a slightly contemptuous word to cover up people's envy, jealousy and hatred towards them. In fact, who doesn't want to be a big dog owner? But Mohammed sighed in his heart, it's not easy to be a big dog owner. Thinking of the annoying things, he couldn't even eat a third of his sandwich in the morning. Most of the rest was thrown directly into the trash can by him. Mohammed's Labrador dog smelled the aroma of food and wanted to poke around in the trash can. Mohammed pulled the Labrador's leash and said, "Stop, don't eat. This kind of food is not suitable for you, baby. You need to regulate your stomach and not eat too much coarse grains. Besides, these foods are too dirty now. I have asked someone to prepare your favorite black tuna breakfast for you. Do you want to eat the big belly? Yes, do you want to eat it? Sit down obediently." The well-trained Labrador sat down obediently, waiting for his breakfast to arrive. Yes, the breakfast that Mohammed used to feed the Labrador was the big belly of black tuna. In Japanese restaurants, 2 pieces of black tuna big belly sushi can be sold for nearly $20 per serving. It is not uncommon for a single serving of big belly sashimi to sell for $100. When countless people look at this expensive and distressing thing and are struggling to decide whether to order one to save face when celebrating their anniversary with their girlfriends, dog owners have already used this stuff to feed their dogs. The reason for feeding the dog is simple. He went to the hospital for a checkup recently. The doctor thought that the Labrador needed to supplement some DHA, iron and vitamins. Mohammed thought that taking medicine was a kind of abuse for his dog, because he himself didn't like taking medicine. So he refused the doctor's decision to prescribe medicine for his dog and refused to take any health supplements. A bottle of health supplements worth thousands of dollars can make a dog eat one, and with the other medicines prescribed by several doctors, it would cost about tens of thousands of dollars. Money has never been a problem for Mohammed, but he refused to give the dog medicine. In the end, he would rather spend a higher price to let the dog improve its physique through food prepared by professional nutritionists. This includes the belly of black tuna. Originally, the dog could eat the scraps of meat, but Mohammed took the dog's taste into consideration and insisted on using the best part. A meal of dog food, more than a pound of black tuna belly slices. The monthly food expenses of 50% of the world's people are not as high as the breakfast of this Labrador in the morning. Is life good for dog owners? Okay, but Mohammed has something to worry about. Because if he doesn't work hard, I'm afraid that this warm and comfortable life of a rich dog owner will end in the future. Because what do the rich dog owners rely on to make money and live a good life? Oil. For nearly half a century, the rich dog owners in the Middle East have been living on oil. The world's energy consumption is increasing, and the price of oil is getting higher and higher. In particular, the 2 wars launched by the United States in Central Asia in the early 20th century further catalyzed the soaring oil prices. The rising oil prices have made the lives of the rich dog owners more and more comfortable. Although it is said that oil will be exhausted one day, the rich dog owners also have their own means of transformation. For example, Dubai, the world-famous rich dog city. Now it is no longer just relying on exporting oil to make money. It is also one of the ports with the largest daily throughput in the world. It is also the financial center of the Middle East and a famous tourist destination. Dubai's transformation is successful. But there is more than one rich dog country in Dubai. Dubai's transformation is fast, but other Emirates may not be so smooth. The plan they made was a little longer term, because before the emergence of new energy, everyone felt that there was at least 20 years of time to lay out. So everyone's plan was also based on this time. But the plan did not change as fast as it did. Who knew that Tony Stark's new energy would come out so soon? Exclamation mark. Now that global oil prices have fallen, the good old days are gone forever. Many dog owners have to find a way out. For example, Mohammed actually shoulders the mission of the family. He came to New York not to play, but to find investment opportunities. If he can't find a suitable investment opportunity and a suitable growth point for the family's funds, he may not even be able to afford a simple sandwich in the future. Hey, I have to save a little more in the future. Let's not put gold foil in the sandwiches starting tomorrow. Mohammed made a frugal decision. After breakfast and taking care of the dog, Mohammed drove away from the hotel where he was staying because he had an important meeting today. After unremitting efforts, he finally got in touch with the world-renowned Stark Group. And finally got the chance to have lunch with Tony Stark. He was a big dog, and the other party was a super rich. But super rich people don't necessarily have a lot of cash, and cash is what big dogs have the most. As long as he can get some information from Tony, or Tony is willing to let the family join in any industry, then the family will definitely be willing to fully finance Tony. He needs to seize this opportunity, and Mohammed feels that his palms are beginning to sweat. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.